got it.
Are we live? Okay. The time is 5:03, and I'm calling the budget hearing for the mayor's office to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alameen is not in. Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Johnson is not in. Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns?
Present.
Ms. Mashat?
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett is not in. We have 3 members present.
We have 3 members present. Because this is a budget hearing, we do not require a quorum for those people at home who might wonder why we are going to go ahead. So I understand we have a presentation, and who is the one leading that presentation?
Hi, that'll be me. My name is Christian Baldwin. I am the grants management officer now, but at the time that we submitted the budget, I was the accountant for the mayor's office. So I prepared this budget for the mayor's office, the city administrator, as well as Blight. So I prepared a brief presentation just to focus on, some of the general concepts. So allow me to get started.
Go ahead.
This is the FY 26-27 proposed budget for the mayor's office, the city administrator's office, the Blight division, and cannabis compliance.
Excuse me, could you microphone more centered?
Is this better? Oh, is this better? Okay. Okay, again, this is the FY 26-27 proposed budget for the mayor's office, city administrator, Blight, and cannabis compliance. To start off, we have the mayor's office budget is $1.37 million in FY 26-27. Just to focus on some of the core objectives, it's going to be the mayor's office provides executive leadership and policy direction for city operations, coordinates efforts across departments to ensure efficient service delivery, leads community outreach and resident engagement to keep residents informed and connected, and supports strategic initiatives and external partnerships, including securing and managing grant funding. The mayor's office personnel has 13 full-time positions and 2 part-time positions. Those personnel provide leadership, ensure efficient daily operations, engage the community, and support initiatives that deliver services and resources to Flint residents. And we have an operating budget for FY 26-27 of $155,493, which supports community outreach, public information, accessibility services, public engagement activities, and essential administrative costs to ensure effective daily operations. Some of the goals and objectives for FY 26-27 for the mayor's office are going to be strengthening communication to residents, improving access to services for residents, ensuring residents are connected to the programs and opportunities available to them. And these investments support a more informed, engaged, and responsive city government while also positioning Flint for continued growth and long-term success. Next, I'm going to move on to the city administrator's budget. In FY 26-27 is $662,413. An overview of the city administrator's budget is to, the city administrator's function is to oversee day-to-day operations of the city, coordinate activities across departments to ensure efficient service deliveries, implement policy and support administrative functions, ensure consistency and accountability in city operations, and provide operational support that enables departments to deliver services to residents effectively. For personnel and operating for the city administrator, the personnel budget is going to be $616,000, which supports 4 full-time positions and 1 part-time position. These personnel support the coordination of daily city operations, ensure effective implementation of policies, and maintain efficient and consistent delivery service delivery across departments. And with an operating budget of $45,000, the city administrator supports essential administrative functions, professional development, and targeted expert services to enhance operational efficiency, strengthen internal processes, and improve service delivery across key areas of city operations. Some goals and objectives for the city administrator in the FY 26-27 are going to be improve operational efficiency and coordination across departments, strengthen procurement, infrastructure operations, and service delivery, enhance internal policies, procedures, and accountability, and leverage training and expert advisory services to drive continuous improvement. Next, we have the Blight Department with a FY 26-27 budget of $2.96 million. An overview of the Blight Department is that it removes and mitigates blighted and unsafe structures, supports neighborhood cleanup and stabilization efforts, improves public safety and property conditions, and enhances the appearance and livability of communities. And for the Blight Department's personnel and operating, for personnel at $1,517,000, we have 20 full-time positions. These are primarily field-based staff responsible for property maintenance, cleanup, demolition support, and with additional administrative and supervisory roles to ensure effective operations. The operating budget for the Blight Department will be $1,444,000 to support comprehensive blight remediation efforts, including demolition support activities, environmental compliance, site restoration, and ongoing cleanup operations, along with the equipment, materials, and services required to carry out this work efficiently across the city. 4 goals and objectives for the Blight Department in FY 26-27 is going to be to demolish approximately 100 blighted structures to eliminate unsafe and abandoned properties, support neighborhood stabilization and revitalization efforts across the city, ensure timely and compliant demolition processes, including environmental reviews and site restoration, and increase efficiency of cleanup and remediation operations through coordinated fieldwork and contracted services.
Warrior Strong serves families.
Finally, for my presentation, we have cannabis compliance. I didn't include the total amount of the budget, but it's about $300,000, which is $220,000 for personnel, which supports 1 full-time position, 2 part-time positions. They're responsible for oversight, coordination, and administrative support functions necessary to monitor and regulate cannabis-related activities in accordance with the city's requirements. And operating budget is $72,500, which supports essential cannabis compliance activities, including professional services, supplies, and administrative costs needed to oversee cannabis operations and ensure adherence to city regulations. That is the end of my presentation. So with that, I don't know if are we moving on to questions?
Shall we take it department by department? And go ahead and do the cannabis first? Any questions on the cannabis for the administration?
Yes.
Go ahead, Ms.
Say your name again, and can you scope that mic a little bit further? The last time you were giving a stereo, basically. So how many people are there in the cannabis? You said 3?
Yes, it's a 1 full-time position, which is the cannabis compliance facilitator, and 2 part-time positions.
Okay, and so the person who's over the cannabis, isn't he working in other departments also?
Yes, currently, but I believe that he's also overseeing the cannabis compliance as well as the administration is working to fill that vacancy.
So he's full-time in cannabis and working in planning and development. Are we pulling from other funds to supplement his salary if he's doing, what, 2 or 3 positions?
Well, I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know exactly how, right this second, how his salary is being charged, but the position is budgeted.
Okay, how long has But if he's doing, okay, I get that that's budgeted, but he seems to be doing 2 or 3 jobs, I believe. And I don't know for how long he's been doing that. Mr. Edwards, would you know how long he's been doing that?
It's only been a few months. He's only been working as he is the manager on the business, the business side of planning development. So he's getting the higher pay. He wanted to maintain the cannabis. That was a decision of his own making that he wanted to continue to work with because he had the relationships. Nobody's established those kind of relationships. He has a knowledge base of the ordinances. He helped create some of those aspects. And there's still things that are pending with the planning commission. So he wanted to,
So he's doing both.
Yeah, he's doing both because he wanted to make sure those cannabis issues that are still
Outstanding.
pending or outstanding, that they were properly navigated.
Okay, and then the 2 part-time individuals, do we know what their salaries are?
I don't have that information right now.
Okay. And do we know how much we got in cannabis money? Mr. Moore?
I'm not
There's
sure
a lot
that
of cannabis in Flint area.
I'm not sure that we have we've received the cannabis money for this year, but last year we received almost $670,000 approximately.
Okay, so last year received 607. Do we have, so are we estimating it on last year's, what we may have?
That's correct.
Because I don't think we've had a decrease in cannabis. I think we've had a decrease in cannabis.
It's based on the number of retail places that we have in the city.
Right.
And it's not based, and actually, it's not based on the sales of the ones that we have in the city, but on the sales throughout the state.
Right.
Based on, divided by the
Right.
total number of, and so.
So when do we get those funds?
We normally get them right about this time of year.
That's what I was figuring. That's why I asked about that. And so I believe that they did, I think they stopped, they're supposed to get a 24% tax on cannabis, but I think that's being appealed. So, okay. And so since we're moving around.
I was just going to try to stay in cannabis and then we'll go
Oh,
on to
okay.
another department. I think that makes a lot more sense rather than jumping from department to department.
That's fine.
Candace? Excuse me, Councilwoman in the 7th Ward.
You know, it's all the same. Good evening. How is everyone doing this evening? Good, good, good. Christian. Congratulations on being the one. I just have a couple of questions. Again, so Mr. Moore, if I heard you correctly, 607?
Yes,
Okay, and that's what we received last year?
that was received last year. We have, as far as I know, we haven't received this year's. It may have come in the last week or so, and I might not know about it, but
All right. And you are anticipating more funding, correct?
we anticipate it should be up a little bit.
All right. Do you know about how much?
Not off the top of my head, I don't. But from what I understand, it should be probably in the neighborhood of 700,000 this year, but that's just a guess.
All right. And then how much of that is used to supplement the wages for this department?
The wages for the department in the whole, the wages themselves are about $151,000 for all 3 positions.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's another slide that talks, yes, if you add with the benefits included, it's 190,000, and then if you include, there's another 23,000 for pension and legacy costs, so.
Perfect. So how much of this anticipated 700,000 is going to be budgeted to help cover the cost of wages for the department?
about 210,000, 213,000.
About 210, 213 of that. And then with the rest of that, so we're gonna say roughly 500, I guess.
Right,
So with the roughly 500,000, where is that going?
that will end up in the general fund.
And up in the general fund to do what specifically?
It's not earmarked for anything. It can be used for any purpose that the city council desires.
Right, so when that money comes in, the plan is to put it into the general fund for any
It can be
purpose
used for
whatsoever.
anything. It doesn't have
Right.
to be restricted.
So one of the things that I noticed with us is that we have funding sources, right? Different things that come in. So we have the opioid money where you have that 30% general fund dump. We have cannabis, general fund dump. We have pensions, which I sent you an email about. I sent it twice. I circled back to you and Mr. Edwards. I'm circling back now again. If you all could please answer the questions in those emails, that would be amazing.
I was going to have those for you next week. I had.
Perfect. But even with that, that's general fund dump. So
That's
we
correct.
have a lot of things that we dump into the general fund, and they just kind of go wherever that's supposed to go. Are there any plans for this administration to actually earmark dollars? So say, for instance, we have people that come here with great needs, right? We have help centers that come. And again, when they're here, they're helping residents. We have a 40% poverty rate in this city. And so those help centers, I believe it or not, I believe they help to curtail crime. And so when you have $500,000 or some other just obscure amount that we're now just dumping into the general fund, as opposed to taking some of those dollars and earmarking things for something like the help center, maybe something like helping the homeless, something like continuing to support small businesses and funds like that. Why don't I see any of that in this budget? I think that we are not fully utilizing the general fund or the sources that we have that go into the general fund to the full capabilities to help the city in the way that we can make larger impact. So is there any plans from this administration to begin earmarking dollars?
I've not heard of any plans to earmark it, but all the things that you talked about are all things that could be funded in the general fund if we desired.
So no, I'm not saying we're going to keep calling it general fund money. What we're going to do is take some of this 500,000, and I also understand there are other things we may need to supplement for, but I think that out of this roughly 500,000, I'm just using this particular pot of money, that maybe 200,000 can go towards something. We know that as long as we have these facilities in our city, that we will continue to get revenue for them. And so now, why aren't we doing, say, and I'm just using this because it's a number that we are already kind of familiar with working with. So you have that 70-30 split that you might have with the opioid money, right? So why aren't we taking these type of dollars and then saying, okay, 70% will go to the general fund, 30% will go towards something earmarked, and it'll go toward that thing every single year, and we'll know we'll have funding to help the community every single year.
That is permitted. We can do that. I am not aware of any conversations that have talked about that.
All right. And then for the two, again, so I would assume since Mr. Menifee is taking on extra duties, so are we still giving him this full-time pay along with the supplement? We're not doing that. Thank you, Che. All right. Go ahead.
My understanding is he took a higher pay, but it's not like he's getting two paychecks.
I understand.
It's just an increase.
So is it, he's still getting the full cannabis salary and then the increase is supplemented by the manager position, or do you know how that's?
I do not know the breakdown.
Okay.
Kristen, do you know? Okay.
Okay.
Do you have any other?
I'm sorry. Does anyone have any idea of what the increase is? Judy, are you taking notes of questions so that we can,
Pardon?
are you taking notes for questions that
I'm
we could
trying.
have, can we get those
I
answered?
can, so we want to know,
what I can tell you is that the budget was prepared before the position had been changed. And his budget fits within the numbers that we had assumed, but I don't know what his exact.
Oh, yeah,
budget-
no doubt in our minds that it's within whatever budget is happening. I just think that now that there is an adjustment, it probably should have been included in the budget so we have a full understanding of how the numbers are working. But I do get what you're saying. With the 2 part-time positions, what are the titles for those positions?
If you give me 1 second, I can get
No
that for you.
problem.
I'd have to know the name of the employees to tell you that.
Okay, no worries. That's not something super important to belabor. But what I will say, go ahead.
Yeah, park safety facility specialists.
Okay. Part-time. Okay. And so, I think that, and I know Councilwoman Priestley has a chance, but I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. But I think what I would like to see in this budget, instead of a general fund dump of $500,000, I would like to see some of that 700 or some of this anticipatory money that we have going towards some earmarked purposes in this budget. So, and I'll yield.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Shat. I'm going to take a couple minutes. So do we currently have people in the part-time positions?
One.
There is one. The other part-time position is vacant.
Okay. And how much of their time is spent on cannabis?
I don't think I can answer that for you. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I would like to know how much time is each part-time person going to be devoting to cannabis, and where if their time is split between another department. I'd like to know that. Now, I understand that. Also, what I want to know is with Montel, is the increase due to him going to a new job, and then we added on, you said we did not add on, it's just because he went to a new job with a higher title, right? So are we separating, are we taking some of his pay that he's doing towards cannabis and putting it back in cannabis?
Yes.
Or is it being unspent?
It's being allocated between the cannabis and the business
BSI.
and community services, but I don't know exactly what the split is off the
Okay.
top of my head.
I just wanted to make sure, I was sure that that would be done, because I know how good you are, Mr. Moore, on this stuff. And that was my big question. And, in regards to what Ms. Mashatz was talking about with earmarking money, that's a possibility to be used. It's good because we talk about having community benefits for cannabis retailers and growers. And that would be a good way to even further use community benefits in that area. I also understand if we use it to help balance the general fund monies. So either way, it works. It depends on where we're at the end and how it all works out for me. But they answered all my questions. That's the advantage of being the last, is that most of my questions are answered. So, pardon, you want to, what?
She was talking to me like she always does.
Oh. Talk in my ear. You want to do city administrator or Blight?
Blight.
Blight. You're up, Mr. Brown.
Yeah, he was in regular.
Councilwoman in the 6th ward, since she started last time, I'll go ahead and start with this Councilwoman in the 7th ward this time. No, you don't want to start? Okay, then go ahead, Ms. Burns.
Hey, Mr. Brown. So with the Blight budget, you have 24 employees. Are they all, you say they were all full-time? Is it Christian?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's
not-
your name?
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct. I'm not sure 24 is the right number, though.
20.
Well, I couldn't understand because I thought I wrote it down. So
It says 20 in our budget book.
Yeah, 20 full-time positions for Blight.
20 full-time positions. Okay.
How many part-time?
And then I know one of the things that have come up, we've used a lot of money for ARPA for equipment. How is that working out?
It worked out great. I got everything I needed, so we're ready to go. Got a lot of stuff in the mixer right now. so-
Mr. Brown, can you move your,
I know you was gonna say that.
yeah. So how many of is it 2 claw, I call them claw trucks?
Lightning loaders.
Is that what, is
Yes.
that the name of them?
Yes, ma'am.
And you have 2 of them?
Yes, ma'am.
Which, you know, I love those.
Yeah, I do too.
I like it when they come and get, like that camper you did, that they just,
Yeah.
2 campers actually we've had in my ward. What are some of the things that you would like, that you feel, I know we were briefly speaking about demo. So you have, and I asked what made your budget higher. So there's going to be demolition that you're going to be doing.
Yes, ma'am.
And how many homes are you looking to demo within this year?
We hoping we can get 100.
How many?
100. That's my goal.
That's your goal.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
what is your criteria for these 100 homes?
Really, it's open. You know, we have agreement with the land bank for unfunded properties. They're all in our community, so it doesn't matter whether who they belong to me. We have private properties that we're going to be through the BSI from Building and Safety. Once they take it through standard motion, we'll be targeting those and trying to recoup our money from the property owners. And then we have the burned out structures. It's gonna be a lot. Most of the money, a lot of the money that we're requested is gonna be for environmental assessments. So that's a big chunk of the money right there.
So how much is it, because demo and pricing per home had went up, how much
Yes.
is your estimate per home to demo?
Well, with environmentals included, probably about 20 grand.
That's really I thought it was a little higher than that.
Well, it is, but if we start doing in-house, we'll save money. That's why we wanted to bring it back in.
And that's including if it's asbestos, lead, and
Yes,
so
ma'am.
on. Okay, and who's going to be doing this?
The assessment or
The demo?
demo, we will have our internal demo
So
department coming back.
internally, the city of Flint will have a demolition department.
Yes, ma'am.
So who are these employees who are licensed to do this equipment,
We have
or to use it, I'm sorry?
we have a person that was on our prior demolition team before it got
For emergency
dissolved.
management?
Yes, and we have him. I'm looking to try to get him back over here, and then I'm gonna be sending. It's gonna be a team of 5, 1 office person, a supervisor, and 3 subordinates up under them. They will all be able to have. They're all gonna have commercial driver licenses, in endorsements, and then I'll send them down to Detroit for environmental training, because they all have to have a 40-hour training, and then we gonna go to work.
So this is a new thing, a new demo team of 5 people, 1 supervisor, 4 workers.
Yes, ma'am.
And what about the liability for the city since we're now going to be in the demo business?
In what regards, as far as,
One, we have to deal with, we talk about the environmental, the asbestos, the lead.
yes,
The different, when you tear down these old buildings, we don't know what's in them.
yes.
And it's usually very expensive to do that.
Well, that's
And you have to have a track record of having, being performed that type of work.
yes.
So is the person, well, if they were here since emergency management, are they in this business? Are they here now? And how much?
Yes, they're
Okay,
on
how
site.
much is their salary?
Well, they're not with me now. They're
Okay.
in another department. right
So
now.
is your budget, is it budgeted?
Yes.
For the 5 people? How much
Yes.
will it cost for the 5 people? Mr. Moore or Christian, somebody?
Yeah, I can give you that. Just one moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And so while you're getting that, just jump right in, Christian. That's a great name. You got a kid, you have a son named Christian. I have a son named Christian pre-med, yes, I do. So, Mr. Brown, so 100 homes at about 20,000 per piece, or per demo. And then and so if the land is owned by the land bank and it's on their unfunded list, do they transfer it back to the city? Or how are we doing that?
That's a good question because I was under the impression that I didn't want to have anything to do with it after we demolished it because there's still some upkeep, as far as, vacant lots and, maintaining those as far as mowing and everything. So,
Right.
That's gonna have to be a, conversation that we're gonna have to have with them because, we're already doing it for, nothing anyway, as far as I'm concerned.
Are we, so are you the plan is in development? Would that be safe to say, Mr. Edwards?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Is it the plan is in development if we don't have like all the answers? A demo team is
For the-
great. Because getting to demos, we had for years unfunded demo until really ARPA funds. So are we saying that we're still developing the demo plan? Because why would we be tearing down land bank properties and don't own the land? That makes 0 sense to me.
As far as I know, the plan was set on what would qualify for our particular team. We're not interfering with whatever the land bank has engaged in terms of, and it's a cooperative, we're working together. There have been discussions between land bank and the city of Flint. But as far as I know, there are no new provisions that are necessary for our plan. We've had many discussions internally to solidify, make sure we're within the boundaries of the law, talking about environmental and all those aspects. So the details of moving forward have already been resolved. And all we're talking now is council blessing on finances.
And so here's my question, because you did not answer it, Mr. Edwards. If we are knocking down a property that is owned by the land bank, once we clear it, we knock down the property that is been an issue. Is there a credit or something? I mean, who owns the property? We're clearing a property that they own out of our budget. Am I correct? If I'm the land bank and Flint has unfunded 25 properties, but it's owned by the land bank, which is the county. So who owns the land? Are we asking them, hey, land bank, we're clearing that property. Can we have that back? Are we leaving it with them and clearing their property? To where it's not coming, because that would come out of improving their property should be on land bank. And I don't have a problem with the land bank, but we're Flint and they're the county. And they got a little bit more money than we got. So we're improving their property at our cost. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I get where we're looking at some of these homes have trees growing up the middle of them. I get that, but we're doing their job at our cost. And where is this money coming from? How are we funding the demos?
If I could answer that, it's, we have some CDBG funds for demos, but a lot of it also is in the general fund.
So are we talking general fund ARPA funds?
No, this is just in the general funds,
Well,
in the Blight's operating budget.
Our ARPA is in general funds now, so,
We weren't planning to use, we haven't designated ARPA dollars for this. This was just part of the general fund itself.
and how much are we spending for that?
If you're talking about the professional services, which includes the dumping and getting rid of the material, we're talking about $650,000.
So are we saying total demo for 100 homes, 600,000?
No, because
Oh, wait a minute. What
we
do you-
also have labor and.
Yeah, I want like our overall. Is that the
Overall-
one
So
point?
overall for the Blight budget, we're looking at $2.9 million. We're talking significant.
So where are we getting the 2.9 million? How much is CBG? Community Block Grant dollars?
So none of that 2.9 million would be CDBG. The CDBG would be supplemental to that.
So how are we paying for,
They come out of the general fund.
okay, and here's, because everything seems to go to the general fund. Is any of this ARPA? Because we now know that ARPA in the Department of, once it was allocated back in December 2023, that is general fund, but we track it, but it's still called ARPA.
But we weren't, we have no plans to use ARPA dollars for this department.
Okay. Blight and demo is great, but I mean, I like to see things separated, itemized, because that way we can read it. I read. And so we're saying, hey, we're gonna do demos, 100 homes. Okay, what's the cost? What's the environmental cost? What is the total, like the breakdown? And I still have an issue with, we're improving land bank properties at the cost on our budget.
I just want to call, time is 20 to 6, and we have the city administrator and as well as mayor, so let's kind of.
So I'll wrap this up, because before we could have budget time, Blight is important. We should be able to talk about Blight until the cows come home, because it's been a problem since emergency measures. They took everything from the city. So I don't like a time, I want this on the record, I do not like that we have to limit time with a issue that is a problem in our city, a very prevalent issue. So I will yield the floor to my colleagues.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, well, afternoon, Mr. Brown. How are you today?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good, good. And I will try to get through this quickly. I think my first question was already answered about the team of 5 and the demo. It's included in the proposed number for 2027, right? That's included.
Yes.
Okay. And then my second question, I was looking at the audit and some of the findings in the audit. So it's interesting that you mentioned the fire escrow. So we have over $1 million sitting there. And if I understand that process correctly, we hold the money until the property owner demolishes the property, if that's what's supposed to happen, until they care for the property in the way that it's supposed to be taken care of, correct?
Correct.
But if they do not do that, then we take that fire escrow money and we take care of the property, is that correct?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys. I'm new to this, but I have a list in front of me right now, and I was just going through it, and I was looking at whether or not the property address is where the bond address was, because I was gonna start driving through them, because a lot of them, they have money on the books, but if the property is not there, they could have had some modifications done to the property. It got burned inside or whatever. So I wanted to see whether these are actually valid to go from there. But that's the way it's supposed to be done. And the $5,000 is not going to get you anything as far as, demoing the property. So when we look at this, and if we went through standard motion and everything on these properties and they $6,000 is there, we actually used, and if it's costing $26,000, they're not getting anything back.
Right, okay, correct. So, because in the findings for the audit, we have over $1 million, well over $1 million worth of fire escrow. So I was just wondering what are we, but you just said you were gonna drive through, so, what's the range that you see there? So you see from 5,000 to 20,000, or are there any properties that are going to get, no?
No, I'm gonna tell you, for the ones, I have a batch that's going out now. There are court orders,
Mhm.
and none of them have the amount of money. Those were all fire withholding properties, and none of them have amount of money for not even to cover the environmentals on it.
Is Council, Mr. Edwards, able to obtain a copy of the fire escrow list?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing.
I was talking to Mr. Edwards anyway, so, Mr. Edwards.
I don't believe that there should be any issue with that, so.
Okay, perfect. Councilwoman Priestley, you have that note for Blight, right?
Which one? I was,
For the fire escrow list.
oh, sure. Yep, I had it, but it's been updated, so.
You have?
I had it. It was
So
a
what
year
we'll
old.
do is, if you,
I'll get it.
thank you, I appreciate that. And then the third question I had, again, with this 20 full-time positions, you said primarily field-based. How many are in the field specifically? Like, because I know that you have your office staff, the ones that we know of anyway, because you also have another department under you now. So is that included in the 20? Because I believe we're bringing forestry back.
No.
That's going to be its own thing?
Yes.
Okay, so this 20 is just all Blight?
Yes.
All right, and so,
No,
go
let me
ahead.
correct you. Let me correct. Yes, when you talk about the other department coming over, that's just a single person coming over.
I just want,
We
okay.
have a forest, we're gonna have a forestry department, its own, so I'll make sure we budget it correctly. We'll have a demo, and then we'll have a blight
Mhm.
as well. So all of them are gonna be individually, as far as, but they all will be under blight.
So, Mr. Moore, is that currently reflected in this budget, what he just mentioned?
It is, the forestry is handled in a couple different places. If it happens, if it's in the right of way, it'd be in the major or local street fund. And if it happens out of the right of way, it'd be in the general fund.
That general fund, boy, I tell you.
That's-
Yeah, it needs to let go of some. But, okay, so then what we're looking at here in the 20, that includes the one that will come over from forestry? No, okay.
Well, because this hadn't happened before the budget.
Okay, so then where is that one represented in the budget?
It's all in the budget.
I think, well, I'll let you
Uh,
know. Yes.
The person you're talking about is in several different funds, I believe. She's,
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand you.
I'd have,
See there, Judy, you asked and they don't even know the answer and you answered it. So was your answer correct?
She's DPW.
have to find her whole department.
Yes.
This is why this stuff.
So all of the budget has, if we're looking for a specific person, the Blight department includes all the forestry as well, the.
So I just asked them that and they told me no. And so
So,
now that's why I'm
Say the
trying to track
forestry-
them down.
You included, sorry, I'm gonna step on your toes. So we had discussed this earlier this year
Yes.
about you having people cutting, trimming trees, city-owned trees.
Yes.
That person is not in your budget?
Well, no, they will be, but the person, we were talking about a person that just got put over here. That
Okay.
one person, and that person is Heather Griffith.
Okay.
So
I-
she's under me now, though, so I'll assume that was who you were talking about, correct? That's not who you were talking about?
Yeah, so we don't have a current representation of where she will really be in 2027?
In the budget.
I don't know off the top of my head which fund her home department is.
She's DPW.
Thank you.
She comes out of DPW. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't really hear the question, but yes, Heather is still being funded out of the DPW
Okay.
202 and 203 funds.
Thank you, Clyde. Excuse me, thank you, Administrator Edwards. I appreciate that. All right. And so, I assume in this number again, that your guys are just going to do and again, I'm gonna assume you have 2 or 3 in this number that's represented that are not in the field with you all, and then everybody else is actually out there doing the physical labor? Okay, and so I would say 17 then. Out of the 17 people, those 17 people will be split between actual blight, forestry, demo, all of that. All right, thank you. And then finally, one of the things that you all discussed earlier, my colleague in the 6th Ward talked about the land bank properties. And so I want to make sure that I understood it correctly when we talk about land bank property transfer, when we have to take care of one of the properties that legally belongs to them. So is there a transfer that occurs? Do they transfer it to the city, or is we're just taking care of it?
No, and correct, to me, they're all in our community. It
Correct.
doesn't matter to me.
Right.
But my thing is, maybe I shouldn't have said land bank properties, but we had a conversation with them, and they said they didn't mind us demolishing their properties if it was, it met standard motion. And you know, my thing is like, okay, yeah, I would love that deal too, but I just shouldn't have said that right off the bat, but it's all gonna be encompassed in everything that we try to do.
No, completely understand, but I want to go into the legality of it, right? So, because it's not like you can just, if it were my property, come onto my property without my permission, right? So I'm assuming with the same thing with the land bank. So there isn't any actual legal transfer of anything. It's us taking care of land bank properties. So is there something that can occur where they transfer that property back to the city? And then once they transfer it back to the city, first of all, is that possible? For if we're going to demolish it, it might as well be ours again. So is it possible for the transfer to come back to the city as far as property? And I'm going somewhere with that, so just take a walk with me.
Watch your time.
That can be a discussion that I can have with Ms. Gurley and the mayor to find out what we
Right,
can
because
do.
if we're using, and I'm just gonna say general fund dollars because it's what we do, but anyway, if we're using city dollars to demolish land bank property, I think it would only make more sense for the ownership of that property to be transferred back to the city. Because if I recall correctly, ARPA funding, we hired someone, I don't think the correct title is asset manager, but we council approved money for someone to be hired so that we wouldn't have to continuously turn property over to the land bank, correct? That's what we did with ARPA funding.
That's my understanding, yes.
Yes, and so since that person exists, instead of us taking care of land bank property, land bank would transfer that property back to city ownership. We would then demolish and take care of that property. And since we have that person, that their sole job is to figure out what we can do or to figure out how to, I want to say sell or whatever, why wouldn't we then just take those properties back? Because at this point, land bank has whole blocks, right? And then there are whole blocks where you might have homes that need to be demolished. So why wouldn't we transfer the ownership back to the city since we're going to demolish it anyway? And then the city could either sell the land or use it as leverage for development to help us out economically or help create more housing here in the city.
That's all a discussion. We can discuss all that. I think it's a good idea.
Now, I'm just putting it out there for the administration, giving y'all a plan other than we tearing down somebody else's property and then they develop it themselves and they put things on it, or they, I think that if it's within the city of Flint borders and it's possible for it to become city of Flint property once again, then the city of Flint should take that on, use that person that we funded through ARPA, and then we go ahead and be creative ourselves and either sell that land so that the city has some sort of revenue that we get off of it, since we already use some of our money to demolish it, or we use it as leverage for development. We have people who come in here and they're asking for land and tax breaks and all that stuff all the time. And so I just think the city needs to be more creative about how we are doing things, because right now it just sounds like we're taking our money and we are tearing down a property. Yes, it is in the Flint city limits. Yes, it will make Flint look better, but no, it will not actually give Flint any type of revenue if something were to happen with it after we demolished it. Sounds like a loss for us. I yield.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to take just a few minutes because we've only got another 8 minutes left to do the rest of this hearing. In regards to tearing down land bank properties, I have been in those meetings with Mr. Brown and Mr. Taylor and Mr. Freeman and Mr. Muma and land bank staff to discuss the issues about the standard motions, and they have no problems of us tearing down their properties. And also, one of the things is that if we get possession of that property, we have to maintain it. We have to be the ones mowing it. We have to be this, we have to do that. Now, I used my ARPA funding, for my board priority, to tear down 3 buildings. 2 of them, and I think about this as priorities as we look forward as those properties. The neighbors have actually made commitments to purchase those properties and are in the middle of the process of acquiring those properties.
Councilwoman
So-
Priestley, if I may, who are they purchasing those properties
They're
from?
from the land bank.
Right, but who tore them down?
We did,
With-
using my ARPA money.
Correct. And
That's
so who took the loss?
It was my ward priority.
No, no,
money.
but help-
absolutely, you know, I'm going to sit there and say, yes, absolutely, the city is taking the loss on those properties, and the sale of those properties are only going to be $100 a piece.
But who's going to get that $100?
We are going to be getting the money back in taxes because it goes back on the taxpayer rolls. Because
Correct,
they're buying
but,
that property.
but again,
But again, if we tore it down and it stayed there and not, those houses are not being, let's not spend the time on this right now
no,
here,
we're not, but I just want to,
but
I want you to understand what you're saying.
I
of-
absolutely know where I'm going.
I am for a 100% gain for the city. And so to me, it only makes sense that if we're going to tear them down, just transfer them back to us, especially if you're saying, well, the responsibility falls on us anyway. It sounds like it's just still city property with land
Brown,
bank benefiting.
Mr. Brown, is your department responsible for mowing vacant lots?
No, we have a contract, city property. We do sometimes, but we have a contract.
But is it under your department?
No,
Okay,
no.
all right, that was that. Do you know what department, is that under
That's
Parks and
under,
Rec?
DPW as well.
Pardon?
That's under Parks and, no.
Yeah, okay, all right, that'll be a question for that. All right, so I'm gonna call it good for that. And the fire escrow list, I know that we have torn down some properties, and some of this list on the monies on the fire escrow list needs to go to the state for S sheets. And so that's gonna be done when?
Right. I didn't hear the question.
When are we gonna S sheet the fire escrow
Oh,
monies?
we've been talking about cheating money this afternoon. We haven't talked about the fire yet, but we have talked about other funds. We're getting ready to do that.
Okay, so if you can get it done in the next week before, then we can then supply us with the updated list after we sheet those, because there's no sense in including those properties that we have to turn the money over to the state because we've held it for so long anyways.
Question, do you have the list?
I don't have the updated list. My
Do you
list
have
is a
the
year and a
final
half.
list?
My list is a year and a half old.
Okay, but we should all have that list.
Well, it's so old and my list
Yeah,
has been
that's not-
changed, so, because I
yeah.
made a lot of notes and I was reviewing
Okay,
it.
you know, and look, this is,
So anyways, let's go
no,
on.
I'm not anyways, and because I've been asking for that.
Well,
And
I
if
did
you
not
have-
know,
If you have.
I did not
yes,
know you were asking
Yes,
for
I've
it.
asked for it for years.
I have not heard you ask for it myself.
I've sent it to Mr. Edwards too.
Well, anyway, let's
And
go
this is
on to
not
our
enough
city
time to
administrator
finish
and our mayor.
anything.
Let's go on to the city administrator or the mayor's office. Which one would you like to
I'm not going
do?
on anything. I'm going home because we can't get anything answered. And when we ask you something, you gave us a limited amount of time with the biggest thing in our city, which is blight. You made this without asking us, were we available? And what if we all showed up? We get, 5 minutes to talk? That's crazy. Blight is not a
Ms.
5-minute
Burns, you know,
problem.
you sit there and you say this
No, you're
every
not
year.
going to say them.
No, Ms. Burns, I'm going to.
No, I'm not going to tell you because you cannot put me out this meeting. Do
I'm
your
not-
job.
I am
You
not
own
putting you
fire
out of-
escrow. Because you can't.
I'm
Hey,
not-
ladies,
I am
pardon
not putting
me.
you out of this
Okay,
meeting.
so what we're
But
gonna do,
let me
just
answer
come
this.
on.
Can't
As
even
the
get
chair, I'm going to
I
respond.
understand that, but you're being argumentative right now as the chair as opposed to just moving the meeting forward.
That's
So let's
correct.
move forward.
So, these meetings have been, for 2 years, I asked for input from members, and I did again in December, and I've not heard a word. So let's go on forward and going on to the next department. Which one would you like to do? City administrator. Go ahead.
You can go. I mean, you can.
Pardon that brief intermission, Mr. Edwards. It's pretty straightforward for you. I'm going to get back to this page. Because I do have a pretty good understanding or grasp on your office, and so there are not a lot of extra questions for you. We were handed a lot of handouts. I don't know what I did with it, but you have 4 staff under you, correct? I mean, 4 in
Including-
your department, excuse me. 4
Yeah.
total in your department. That would be you,
Yes.
your assistant, and what are the other 2?
2 more assistants.
2 more
Yeah,
assistants.
I have a senior assistant, and then I have 2 more.
Right. And I'm going to say and put it on record, that makes sense because right now there are a lot of positions in the city that you are currently responsible for as we put the search out there to have those different positions filled. So that does make sense that you need that amount of assistance to kind of help you continue to move forward daily. What I will do, that was literally my only question for you because everything else with your budget is pretty straightforward and it makes perfect sense. So I'm going to yield because that's all I have for you.
Okay, now the mayor's office?
No, I yielded to her to go first.
Oh, okay, go ahead then.
Thank you. Mr. Edwards, you have your senior assistant, you stated.
That's correct.
Is that Phil?
No, Deidre Ladd is her name.
Okay, and then you have your 2, I know you have your administrative assistant, and who else is in your office?
Yeah, as I said before, Deidre is my primary.
Right.
She's been with me. And then I have 2 more. They started as interns. Now they're both a full staff. Vashari Jones is one, and Jaquindre Brown is the other.
Okay, and your budget is very straightforward with what, we don't know what all do you do?
Well, I mean, truthfully, yeah, I could use 3 more people, but yeah. But my scope is everything that functions in this city. So, yeah, and then some, and as well as, I'm a part of the Bishop Airport Authority. And so, all those functions all of these people actually have a role in every function that takes place, because that's how I break up all of these responsibilities. They're all golden people with me because they keep me abreast in all those different areas, from IT to planning and development to police, fire, plant, and DPW, all of it. So
here's my other question. When asking for documents, and I've asked for the fire escrow fund from you several times.
I'm not sure that,
Yeah, I did, and I also sent it to.
I'm not debating. I've just said
Yeah,
I don't
let me-
recall
Let
it.
me finish, please. I also sent it to the city clerk and the city attorney. Because my question with that fire escrow fund, I asked who's doing the demolition, how many demolitions have been done with that? Because you are the catch-all with everything, and I get that, because there's some positions which are unfilled. And so with that fire escrow fund, let's say, for example, there's a house on Court Street where a person died. The lady keeps asking me when the home is going to get torn down because she had insurance on it, and she will still own the property because they withheld it. So there are positions in that when I'm asking, like for you, it is utterly ridiculous, which our last meeting you stated, we can come and look at any documents in the mayor's office. That's what you stated at the podium.
That, if, I'm
No,
waiting
no,
for
go
you.
ahead.
No, that is partially correct, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I was speaking about the registry. It was that check registry, which is a sensitive document that I was really speaking about. There was a question from council directly concerning the check registry. I didn't say all documents. I was talking about the check registry and I was responding to a council person's, I'm not sure if it was you or another one, but I was responding to the council person's inquiry about why they weren't getting the check registry.
So I asked for the check registry last budget season. That's a year ago. You can redact account numbers. I completely understand that. When we have individuals who have FOIA'd it and received it, I have not received it yet. And I asked you last budget season. That's a year ago. I've also asked for the community block grants. I asked, was it the Truth in Lending report? I believe I have to look up the name. I haven't gotten that. So when I'm asking you for things, Mr. Edwards, you never have an answer and you're going to get back. And when I ask for specific things, we are entitled to see what you have and not have it. You don't get to hold it in your office to where we come down. Can you imagine us being down there sitting in that? And I'm not ever going to do it. Going through the check registry line by line because it's so small that you got to use a ruler to keep your eyes on track and flipping the pages. And you have not given it to us, which we should all have a copy. I have no problem redacting because it's out there. It's already out there on social media. Someone FOIA'd it and the account number is redacted. Don't have a problem with the account number being redacted since we were, what do you call it? We were cyber attack. But when we ask for something, there is always an excuse. Just like with the ARPA funds, what's in the general funds, but it's not, but it's ARPA tracked. You know, and just the answers. So when we ask for reports, we don't get them. Fire escrow, I have asked, because I have people who want to know, when are they tearing down the house? And a gentleman died in a home that the city of Flint has held their fire escrow funds. October, he died in a fire in a home that should have been burned, should have been torn down, and the city of Flint has held their funds. So when I'm asking for something, because I want to read it and I'd like to know, I expect to give it to you, or you to give it to us. We've asked for documents in your office, it goes to you. You do not give them to us. You don't. And then Judy saying she had the fire escrow list. Haven't seen it. She hasn't given it. And so we ask these things because when you came into office with Mayor Neely, that was a question about the fire escrow list and contractors who were doing the work. It was a question then. There were some outstanding balances. How much was in it? How much are we tearing down? Because one, now we have an arson. Can we tear down with that in that account with all of the arsons or fires being burnt? Can we use that to tear down homes that are been set on fire? You know, people don't know that money is there. And I believe the state says if you do not apply that money or give it back to the residents, have we made an effort to contact these residents and say, hey, you've got 20,000 sitting over here. Have we made that effort to homeowners? Mr. Edwards?
I'm sorry. I was thinking about the response and the question that was related to that we talked about at council meeting and the documents. And I believe that in response to what you're talking about with giving these documents, I thought we had an understanding that the documents would be sent to legal, and legal would look at what needed to be redacted, and then the
You
documents
invited
would
us
be
to
moved
come
on.
down.
No, that was, I understand.
Yeah.
But at that same meeting, I'm saying that it was spoken from the legal department that we could redact. That's where the redaction was introduced into the situation, and we all agreed that that would be a process. We could send the documents to legal, things could get redacted, and then be moved on to the next.
But is it a fair assessment a year later? I'm still asking, don't you? I mean, that's just ridiculous. It's a year later. It is literally, well, it'll be a year in May. So that's ridiculous. So here's my thing. If we're asking for documents, which we shouldn't have to ask, it's supposed to be shared. You know, council's supposed to be the balance. I mean, it's community block grant dollars too, I've asked about. Who applied, and can we see the applications? You can take out, redact their EIN number. That's even listed on any site you can get it. When we're asking for documents, we're not getting them. So if we're not getting them, it's the same thing with the ARPA funds. And a lot of these are federal funds. So if we're not getting them, and you literally said, well, you can, and I mean, I have to give it to you because you were good at it. You just kind of made a smirk, so we can come down and take a look at it. And I'm like, that's not how that goes. You know, and my question was for the community block grant dollars, and also the check registry, also the fire escrow fund, because that is something that's serious. And my question was, are we making an effort for the fire escrow fund to reach out to people who have these funds that are sitting in there? Have we reached out to them? And are we going to forfeit this back to the state? Because we only have a certain amount of time before we have to, that the state says, hey, you've had those funds, we want them now. That was to you, Mr. Edwards.
Oh, that, as far as, okay, yeah, I remember, I'm going to tell you what I remember through this experience.
Okay.
Suzanne Wilcox, when she was in planning development, she used to come here and talk about the fire escrow. I know, I was with her at the time. So that was often a function of that department. They maintained, kept up with that, could report out on that. So what I could tell you at this point is I need to get with that person. I don't know much about the fire escrow account. I just know of it. I know it existed. I know approximately what's in it, but you're talking about rules and requirements now.
No, I'd like to know what properties we've torn down, which ones are slated to be torn down, and if we have a price for each property for the demolition of it. Also, I asked you for the annual action plan report. I did not get that either.
They're similar, and that one I know. There was a question, I remember, I believe Councilman Pfeiffer asked that question about the programming. So they had some notes and things that they were assembling a document to provide about all of the applicants and the programming.
Okay, so so are we saying you're going to redact some of the information on it that you're privy to, but we're not privy to?
I'm not sure
Okay,
in
because
terms
let
of
me tell you with
legal.
the redaction part, because we keep talking about federal dollars and we ask about things with federal dollars, we don't get the response. We don't get it. You know, we're asking things and people are saying when they say, oh, well, I got paid or I didn't, you know, or the community block grant dollars, who's receiving them? And people are saying, I applied and I'm not getting them. You know, and why is it it's the same list of people when new people aren't given an opportunity? And so we're asking, and I've asked, you've received the annual action plan report. I quit counting at three times. I put first attempt, second attempt, third attempt. And then that's an email. Then I also asked during here, but here's the thing. I don't know how to get these documents when I ask you for something. Only person who can come get the documents if we have to ask who covers our federal funds, the Department of Justice or the FBI to give them. Then they come get the computers. I've been asking for a year. And I will absolutely ask them to, because it shouldn't take when I'm asking for these things, the annual action plan report, when I'm asking for our ARPA funds, who all got them, how are they dispersed? And they have not. Some council members receive ARPA funds. And then I actually met with someone yesterday about the two people, their 30,000 was used inappropriately. And so we're asking who got them when they got, you have not released that.
The federal report, I'm not sure what you're referring to because
I'm referring to who it does not state
the
all.
federal report for ARPA is on the website, and we provided
So
that
here we go.
document to
So some of the ones who are
unredacted.
fiduciaries, they're
It was-
fiduciaries. And the fiduciaries, I received someone who said that they were shorted $3,000 ARPA funds. And they asked me, how do they make a complaint? They mowed 600 lots, cleaned up Clio Road. They were shorted $3,000. And I know it wasn't the Neighborhood Engagement Hub. They claimed it was a council person. So these are things that I'm asking. We had another where porches were built. So we're talking about our ARPA funds, and the ARPA tracker, we really don't know how that works. We now know it's general funds. But I'm gonna, and that's just,
Madam-
that's so vague.
Madam Councilperson, you asked about whether we provided you a comprehensive report of ARPA. I'm telling you, we provided you exactly what we gave to the federal government, no more,
And
no
I'm not,
less.
but we've asked you for more detail.
But that's now that's something different.
No, we've been asking you.
You asked for, my original recollection is you asked for a reporting of the
No, that's
ARPA dollars and what how had been expended in ARPA dollars. We provided you exactly what we give to the federal government.
Okay, we've asked you for all allocations or to be allocated, all expenditures, not just because there were some have fiduciaries, but then the companies or the organizations they were fiduciaries for. So we asked you for everything complete, any and all, and for any and all means any and all.
And I don't recall that particular
We started in
statement.
December 2023. It was voted on to put that $40 million in there. December 2023. That now it's saying, oh, no, it's not. And literally now, when we're saying, and after speaking with someone with the Department of Treasury, said, hey, that's not the way that's supposed to be. ARPA is not tracked that way. That when we're creating positions, we created positions for the Mays Center, that those positions cannot be used that way. And here it is, we're getting sent up resolution. I'm worried about this, and it's serious. And so when we have this, we didn't have the Mays Center during COVID. So it wouldn't have been a revenue replacement because we didn't have it. We had a nonprofit that we spent $0 for. But I'll send you I'll send the clerk and the city attorney. I don't want my stuff redacted. I want to look at it just like you look at it. We are all elected. If you need to take out, Mr. Moore, the account numbers for cyber attack, I understand that. But I would like to look at the raw material myself because I know how to read. And if you don't want to start giving me these reports, I have no problem going to where the people can come get me the reports. They can get it voluntarily or involuntarily, but it shouldn't take a year for me to get a report or even our check registry. That's crazy.
Go ahead, Ms. Mashat. I'm going to go ahead. Let's go ahead and go on to the mayor's office.
I'm not ready yet.
Go ahead. Okay, so last year in the mayor's office, they included some of the positions that were in Blight and everything. Is in the mayor's office where is the monies for public health? Or is that going to be because I haven't seen anything on public health for.
Okay, yeah, in the budget book, that's counted in, I think, Community Services Office of Resilience and Sustainability. So,
Okay,
and the Office of Public Health is budgeted in the opioid fund.
so when is that budget hearing going to be? I don't recall having anything in that set up as a budget hearing.
I have it here.
Let me look at this.
That'll be on April 15th.
Okay, with the planning and developing, is that where it's going
Yes.
under? Okay, thank you. I thought it was going to be under today. All right. So in the mayor's office, we have, how many people do we have doing public information, going out there and doing the press releases and any data that's going out to the public? Communications, thank you so much. All of a sudden I blanked on the word. I have that problem sometimes.
The answer is 4.
4 of them. So we have somebody doing the website. And that's Jason. And then we have, what are the other job people? What are the other?
So there's a communications and marketing coordinator.
And that is,
That's Mr. Hendricks.
yep,
And communications and marketing specialist, that's Mr. Gonzalez. And then also a communications liaison.
okay. All right, and I wasn't prepared to go first. I was listening to some of the other questions that were coming up. So, and then we have a community outreach, one person, and the city of, the chief of staff is under the mayor's office.
Correct.
What other positions?
It would be,
You are under the mayor's budget, right?
yes, yeah. So the accountant, the official title is administration grants and finance coordinator. There's an administrative office coordinator, a receptionist, executive level staff. If you want an exact list, I could give that to you.
That would be nice. I think that's something that the council members would like, and I'll put that in list of positions. I don't care about who's in positions because those change all the, but just the list of the positions so that we have an idea of what's there.
Certainly.
And then there was something else in here, and then I'm going to yield my time back to my. So professional services, in this current budget, we have $100,000. And next year is going up to 103,000. What is in that line item? What-
It includes a lot of things. A lot of it is communications costs, for public outreach and communication-related professional services. But also it includes interpretation services and the cost to produce digital communications and public information.
And the lobbyist is under this one too?
I don't know the answer to that right now.
Okay, because I know we do have a lobbyist.
Yeah, he's not, no, that was not budgeted in that account.
Do we know where that is budgeted?
That's the finance department.
It's in the finance budget? Okay, thank you. And that was a question that I had on that. And then I think the educational, so how come we've got the education and training and conferences down $900? Yeah, that's even less than what the activity is for this year. It's not much, it's just a couple $100, but still, I'm just wondering why that is down, is lower for next year, and it's actually lower than what has been spent for this year. Does anyone know that answer? Okay. I think that was a no. And postage, well, postage went up, obviously. Those were my big questions. And so I'll go ahead and go on to the next person who'd like to ask any questions.
Thank you. So just a couple of questions here. First, the professional dues and publications. I noticed that previous years that's empty, but we're looking at 6,800 for that. What is in that line item, professional dues and publications?
So I know what it is. I don't know if I can give more context, but it's for the U.S. Conference of Mayors membership fee.
Okay. I know we have a city membership to Michigan Municipal League. What budget? Where is that in the budget? Where does that come out of?
I don't think as far as a membership for the whole city,
The clerk can explain it. Go ahead.
That is actually it's in the council budget?
It's in the council budget?
Correct.
Okay. I'll ask when we get there. Thank you. And then with vehicle and equipment intra-city, what's that? And I noticed, whatever it is, oh wait, that's the wrong line. We have a little bit more budgeted for that. What's in that line item?
just give me one moment. Okay, so it's as with any department, it's charges, fleet charges, but it also would include mileage reimbursement for some staff members that drive around the community.
Staff members out of the mayor's office or where?
Yes, out of the mayor's office.
So we pay mileage for staff members for the mayor?
Yeah.
To,
And occasionally, I mean, I don't personally process those mileage reimbursement requests, but to the best of my understanding, it's staff members who are engaging in the community.
that must be lovely. Okay. And then, Judy, I don't get paid mileage to drive around the city of Flint.
Oh, no, not, but.
This said, okay, this says intra-city. All right, and then you said some of this is fleet as well?
Yes, I don't know it would be for, you know, the internal service charge for cost to the fleet department, and it's allocated depending on what equipment is being rented by the mayor's office, and I don't know the exact number of vehicles. It's either one or two. I think it's one.
When you say equipment being rented,
Vehicles.
vehicles being rented by the mayor's office? What
Well,
vehicles would be
not
rented?
rented like from a rental agency. They're city vehicles, but the fleet is an internal service charge, so that the cost of maintaining those vehicles gets charged to various departments.
Got you. Why is it in the mayor's budget specifically, though?
I believe that there's somebody in the mayor's department, I'm not sure who, because I just don't interact with that, but somebody has a city vehicle that they use.
Wonderful. There are enough people up here who may interact with that. So what is this?
I mean, we could definitely find out to who is using the city vehicle.
I'm sorry, you wanted to know, I'm sorry, could you ask that
Go
question
ahead.
again? Yeah, because it was, yeah.
Yeah, so
Please
he-
ask the question again, I'm sorry.
Right, so I asked, it said vehicle and equipment, and I asked him what vehicle or equipment, he said fleet, and then he broke it down to apparently there's a vehicle being rented that we are utilizing.
Oh, you're talking about, okay.
It's not a rental vehicle. It is a fleet vehicle being charged to the mayor's department.
Right, a fleet vehicle being
Fleet.
charged to the mayor's department. Okay, what fleet vehicle and who is using it?
I believe that's a vehicle that is being used presently by the mayor. If that's the vehicle we're talking about.
Is that the vehicle that you're saying is being budgeted here?
So the budget is just based on historical costs. It's, at the time of preparing the budget, it's not, there's no exact science to know what the maintenance costs will be and what the internal service charge would be to the department.
Right, so in 2024, we had that, the actual activity for 12, it was 12,377, right? 2025, 26, it was 8,000, right? 734, then the year after that, 9,250, but now we're projecting 13,131. Do we know which vehicle and why we are projecting that? If we've seen a significant decline from the 12,000, why are we going back to 13,000?
There's still 3 months left in this year, so it'll actually be projected about at 12,000. The 9,000 you're seeing was the budgeted actually for this year, so it actually was under budgeted. So the 13,000 projection is actually a more accurate projection for FY20.
Okay, and so what are the costs associated with it? Why is it costing us 13,000 a year? How's that broken down per month? Like why is that cost there?
Yeah, I would have to direct that question to the fleet department. And they prepare the calculations.
I'm assuming that would include depreciation, gas, insurance, repairs, oil changes, all that.
So
That's
you're gonna get me that answer. I appreciate
I've put that in there.
Councilwoman
I
Priestley.
actually put it on my list. It's already on my list.
Right. And then I see here, under the mayor's budget, we have, and I'm making sure I'm trying this right. Mr. Moore, maybe you can help me out. We have holiday pay under the mayor's budget. What does that mean?
The city celebrates 10 holidays a year, and that's the cost allocated for paying people on their day off on the holiday.
So, let me see. If I'm drawing these lines correctly. So holiday pay means there's a holiday, you're not coming in and you're being paid for it?
That's correct. So like Christmas Day, we don't work.
Mhm.
That'd be the employees aren't compensated for that day.
Mhm.
So that's the cost of providing the holiday.
Okay. All right. And that's just kind of a blanket thing that happens for all employees, right?
Right, yes.
Right, and this is just the mayor's office for the 26,124. I'm assuming though, because I know that the current practice is for days such as Good Friday, which is what, tomorrow? And then the day after Thanksgiving. It's my understanding that PTO has to be used if people do not want to come in,
That's correct,
and that happens in the mayor's office as well?
yes.
Okay. All right.
Any other?
Yes.
Okay. I actually have one more question too, but that's all right. Keep going. Go ahead.
Judy, you got something
She's
interesting going on with your cheering today.
Huh?
You have something interesting going on with your cheering today.
Oh, I know.
I know. We
It's
got to
been a-
relax though,
It's been a busy day for me.
Yeah.
Everything's been going on.
for us all, but you
Yep,
know,
I
let's
know.
stay even.
Some days you just
I
need.
get it, but we have to stay even so things don't get odd. I yield.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Burns.
Thank you. Christian, really quick, or I don't know who can answer, Mr. Moore. So according to the city charter, the mayor doesn't get a vehicle. I mean, it's not, does he have a professional service contract? He gets $148,000 a year. His vehicle used to be on the police budget. It used to be underneath there because he was driving one of the brand new detective cars. Why are we paying for the mayor's vehicle? He makes $148,000 a year. He can afford his own vehicle.
It'd be for the city duties, not for personal use, but for city operations.
They have seen him take the vehicle home for years. I'm just telling you. So why are we paying for this? Does he use city gas?
I'm sure that's part of the cost, yes.
Okay, so we're paying for his vehicle, for his insurance, his maintenance, his gas. So it's really adding to his pay because you can take that 14,000 that is offset per year that he's using a city vehicle. It's not a secret. He used to take the car on the police budget. So it's not on the police budget anymore?
No,
Because it used to be.
I can't speak to that.
I can. It was on there. But he got a new car. What year is this vehicle he has? Well, can somebody?
I have no idea.
Okay, well, y'all the number people? I mean, we
Blair-
could go down there and look in the
The
mayor's
fleet,
slot.
the
It's a
fleet
brand
manager
new
would be able
car.
to tell you what vehicle that.
Pardon me?
The fleet manager would be able to tell you what vehicle that is.
Okay, well, the fleet manager isn't here, so it's on y'all. And so, you know, in budget time every year, we have these
We can
questions.
get you that answer.
Pardon me?
We can get you that answer.
Yeah, I want to know, I want to see what the picture, the year, the mileage, was it brand new? Does he got air? And I want to know these things.
It's on my list.
We don't, I'm still driving my V8. Okay, so I don't have I know, it's a big truck. So we don't get those. And we should not be, and it's taking abuse when he's had one since 2019. And a lot of you weren't here, but I know he got it. At that time, I worked for the mayor, and I went and got it from the police department. So I know since 2019, he's used gas. He didn't pay for his own insurance. He didn't pay for the vehicle at all. That's not in his contract with the city. It's not a perk. It's not a perk. And at $148,000, he can pay for his own vehicle with no problem. So I'm going to, the lobbyist. How much are we paying for a lobbyist?
I believe it's a little over 4,000 a month.
So we're looking at so we're looking at 64,000 a year. Am I right?
48,000?
20, for 40, no, what is
I
it,
think it's
4,000?
36 I think it's around 36,000 a year.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, he said 4, because it is hard to hear you, Christian, I'm sorry. So you said 4,000 a month, right?
Correct.
Only person talks real loud to the microphone is Councilwoman Mashat. She don't even need a microphone. So 4,000 a month, so we do 4 times 6 is what? 24?
Correct.
And then we multiply that times 2, 48,000, right?
Yep.
Now, didn't we have another firm? They weren't that much worth. When did we switch? Is that just one lobbyist firm
And
or 2? Or
I don't know the answer to that question. I've only known of the one.
Mr. Moore, do you know?
I'm only aware of one.
What's the firm that we're using?
The Nathaniel Group.
The Nathaniel Group.
That's correct.
Okay. And so we're spending, and that's under whose budget is that under?
Finance,
It's under finance.
right.
Okay. So the car with the people in the city of Flint are not going to be happy. But I would like to know what kind of new car the mayor has. I'm jealous, actually. I am. So if we could find that out from Fleet, from somebody,
It's on my list.
thank you. I would appreciate it. And thank you for sharing about the Nathaniel Group is our lobbyist group. I'm going to yield the floor because I know
Okay.
Judy has us tight on time.
Okay, I got one real quick question. This is something that Mr. Moore and I have discussed since he came on, and it's been in an audit finding for years. Are you a Christian? Is Christian's job under the mayor's, or is he under, who does he report to? And
Who's that?
Christian,
Christian? Christian reports to the mayor. He's the grant,
he's not doing any accounting, right?
well, in the interim, he has been doing some accounting until we fill the position. We've been,
Okay, and I can understand that, but I want to make sure, because when we added the one to community services, and I
Yep.
fought on that. So I just want to make sure, because we have to clear up that audit finding. And that was my question, and thank you very much. This budget hearing for the mayor's office and city administrator is closed. And we will set up for our clerk.
Thank you, everyone.
6:36. Thank you.
Christian, I enjoyed you,
Thanks for having me.
as well as the rest of you too. I've never seen him here, though.
I was here last year. I'm a
Oh,
little better
I
dressed.
didn't make it to everyone. You were enjoyable.
Thank you.
No, we got the clerk and the city council. Yeah. We asked a number of good questions. Some of them I'll be answering directly because that's what I'm, some of the others, what you had about ARPA, there's, we're supposed to be having an ARPA presentation now. I've been deferring on that.
So many misstatements, by the way.
Hey, let me tell you something.
This time around, I think I did.
Shay, it's always a pleasure.
This is the reason they don't want me.
Yeah. But okay, sounds good. So are you talking about the questions in the email or?
The ones on the, email, the only ones I'm aware of.
Okay, perfect. I just want to make sure we're talking the same questions. All right, thank you.
Oh, all right.
This was a resolution that was adopted for that street
Oh,
vacation.
yep.
that we amended. I need
Yep.
to register. I just wanna have-
Okay.
that's how I'm gonna catch you.
I did read this in the packet. So I'm aware of what it's about.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, perfect. I think that's something. I got my list here. City clerk and city council office.
Okay.
It stays on.
We need to do roll call again, ma'am.
Give me 1 second, Judy.
Yeah.
Davina, do we want to do roll call again, or just keep going? Okay. Okay, are you guys all set? Take a deep breath. Okay, time is now 6:40, and we'll start the budget hearing for city clerk and city council offices, and I'll turn this over to our city clerk, Ms. Donahue.
Okay, so I'm not sure how we posted it, so I'm not sure which budget you want to go over first, but
It's got city clerk and city councils at the same time. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and do
Okay.
city clerk.
so the Office of the City Clerk includes two separate budgets. That's going to be the city clerk's budget and the elections budget. And as I will often state, our budgets are pretty static. We don't have a lot of changes, but there are some important things to note coming up in this next fiscal year. So if we start with just the clerk's budget, And I'm not sure, the handouts that I got, it really doesn't have a breakdown, so I'm not sure if you have a breakdown of everything.
Does she have a copy of this that we've got?
I usually just go like this, so
Yeah, she's got a,
I think they just have.
yeah, she's using her own though, I think.
Okay.
So it's just, okay. So you have the one pager with the personnel, pension, operating, capital breakdown. I'm assuming that's all you have in front of you.
What is the budget amount that you're talking, page 394, 834? 394,834? We've got two that are entitled, okay, it says clerk right underneath
Oh.
in the gray. Okay, I
You
see
got a
that.
separate one for this? For clerk?
I gave, we should.
I didn't get it. Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry, I didn't get the handout you got, so.
Okay. That was my question.
Okay, so yeah, so this is the main one, so pretty much everything in the city clerk's department for the 215
Mhm.
budget remains the same. What I am looking at, because of, so, some things are in the clerk's budget that affect the council. So, one of the things that's in the clerk's budget is the professional services line item, which covers our legislative records system. And because of the upgrades that we've been talking about for council meetings and those sorts of things. So that's going to mean we might have to increase our budget for that. However, what I'm looking at is possibly not filling a position that is currently vacant in order to cover some of those costs for those operating systems. Right now, we're paying just under $60,000 a year. And with the improvements that we've been talking about, which would entail more cameras, a better camera operating system, broadcasting on multiple channels and things like that, it's going to cost an additional, right now, $70,000 a year, possibly. That includes everything we've talked about, closed captioning, transcriptions. It's an upgrade of the system that we're currently using. So, but I'm trying to figure out a way to keep it within the budget that we have, because essentially that system would do the work of one of the council employees. So, but that system is under the clerk's budget. So it's a matter of moving dollars and not filling positions right now. So yeah, so the other thing for the clerk's office, and that's also going to be under professional services, would be possibly establishing a legal services line item for some of those issues that come up during election time. And because we do have some election concerns that are on the horizon that might be an issue in the future, the near future, if some legislation passes, So we would need to be able to make sure that we are in compliance with a lot of things going on there. So yeah, that's the main thing with the clerk's department. And in addition to not filling that open position, we're also, well, I'm looking at combining one of the unfilled positions with another unfilled position in council office in order to pay for that second deputy. But it's still trying to balance and figure out which is the more important thing right now, either the upgrades to the equipment and things for the council meetings, or the wages and salaries for staff, for full-time staff.
Do you want to go ahead and do the whole clerk's department, and
Okay.
then we'll do council
And-
separate? Because
Yep. Elections. it's
we've
gonna
got
be-
license and permits next in our,
I'm sorry. Yeah, I just went numerically by department in the BSNA system, so it may not be in the order she wants to go in. That,
okay,
I
all right, so
apologize.
we'll go
I
ahead and do the
apologize.
elections. Go ahead with, the elections is on page 4, although it's not numbered. It says elections in the gray in the left column. Okay, go ahead.
So, do you want me to find?
Do
it for
whatever
you? Let me
way you
find
want
for
it done.
I'm sorry here. You want elections next? I got it. I got it. There you go.
No, what did, you were talking about licensing?
Whatever you, whichever way you
here's
want to do it,
elections.
Davina.
The
licensing is
reason
separate.
she said elections was next, because clerk was here and then elections.
You said you wanted to do elections.
Okay.
Do you want to do this? Do you want to
Yeah,
go in this
the
order?
licensing is
Okay.
fine, because licensing is really just the wages, and this is revenue here.
Yeah, that's up here. These are the.
So, yeah, so, because I just think of them all under the same umbrella. But, so it's still, we still have our job descriptions as licensed investigators, because they're still doing licensing right now. We were looking into the possibility of moving licensing under business and community services, but it is still under the umbrella of the clerk's office, so those employees are still considered licensed investigators, so their wages and salaries are here. The revenue is pretty much the same. We get from Comcast and DirecTV. Comcast from cable, our cable communications contracts. The revenue, that's that part of it. The rest of it is just wages and salaries for our licensed investigators. And also, the Board of Review is under the clerk's department. That's on the next page. That's pretty straightforward too. It's part of the assessments division, but the employees are through the clerk's office, so we do have that in our budget. They get paid per meeting. They meet 3 times a year.
We can't hear you. It was-
The Board of Review, it's just a part of the
Oh,
clerk's budget, but it's, part of assessments, but it's in our budget, so it's a very small part of the budget.
Okay.
Elections. So some of the main things are elections. Obviously, it's going to be, so some of our election workers are in, the wages and salaries are in elections, but they're all under the clerk umbrella. And then we have our election workers. Here it's showing as temporary seasonal. We know that we have 2 elections for the next fiscal year, August and November. We're not sure about anything beyond that at this time, but because it is the mayoral and council, plus we have,
Governor, Secretary of State, Attorney
yeah,
General.
a lot of, it's going to be a major election, so we have Pretty much all of our election workers will be working. Obviously, all of our precincts, we will have early voting. So we anticipate that to be, we usually budget 300,000. I think we asked for 250. And another item that is not in this budget, something that we need to consider. Our election equipment contract will be up in January of 2027. It's a 10-year contract through the state. And the state and federal funds paid for it in the past. We've been instructed by the Bureau to anticipate or to budget for our precincts. And the governor has put this election equipment in her proposed budget, but we won't know until July if it'll be approved and in effect in October. But we know that our contracts will end in January. So what we're being told, clerks, is that we should anticipate a cost of approximately $15,000 per precinct. So we have 29 location precincts. We also have election equipment for our early voting. And so we're looking at approximately 35 precincts. So that's going to be a cost factor if we have to pay for it.
How much were those machines?
The machines are all different prices, but their estimate is going to cost, with all the machines, all the equipment that we would need, $15,000 per precinct. So that's about $525,000.
Okay.
But again, we won't know until July if it'll be covered by the state. And we also won't know if the equipment that we currently use, which is HART, will be the vendor that'll be required. We anticipate it will be. So it's possible we might have to get some new equipment either way. But hopefully the state will pay for that. And again, some of the things that we're looking at, they haven't been enacted or coming up, but it's some things that we will have to consider if some of the other orders or acts pass, how we operate in our elections division. But right now, that's the main thing that we need to anticipate budgeting for, is that equipment. So that's pretty much it for the clerk's office and elections.
Okay. That was it. Was there any other? We have, yep, go ahead.
Thank you. So a couple of these, they're going to have some of the same questions to begin with, but under the city clerk's department, how many people are just clerk, period? So I know originally you were going to take the deputy clerk and do 2 positions with that, correct? And right now we only have 1?
Right now I have 1 that was budgeted. The other one wasn't budgeted, but I have 2 other positions that have been budgeted, but I would like to take those dollars and use instead for the deputy.
Okay, so I see on the org chart that we were handed, it says city clerk, then it says deputy city clerk, but it says just for elections, right?
Correct.
So then there isn't one necessarily for council.
Right, the other clerk would be administrative legislative, so they would do the legislative work, but they'd also still work with elections on the administrative things that we need, like website and the new system that we're talking about.
And that was the second one that you said is not filled yet, correct?
It's not budgeted.
It's not budgeted.
Right. So it isn't filled and it isn't budgeted in this current budget. So I did put in for that in the, when we say which positions we want, so it is in our PSW with those dollars for those other positions. So it's still showing 8 positions because it's counting that deputy.
Mm-hmm.
So
So when you say you put in for that, who would you put in for that with?
finance, when we do the budget, we do a personnel survey, basically saying, these are the positions that we want, this is how much they're gonna cost.
And so finance did not budget another deputy for you.
I didn't say, not that, they do the wages and salaries, it's up to us to break down what those are. So it's the same, I just took the dollar amount because it was at the council, because we had 3 administrative secretaries to council. The budget had it at the salary that the last person was at, which was like a higher year level. And then we had the licensing.
Right, so we
investigative position,
but we currently only have 2, right? We're not on council yet, but once we get there, I'll ask this line of questioning when I get to council. So specifically under clerk, so how many people fall under that? So I'm looking at the page that just says clerk.
So the clerk is under the clerk's budget. It's the clerk, the deputy clerk, 2 licensed investigators, election supervisor, 2 election records clerks. And I believe for this budget, that 2nd deputy clerk.
I'm sorry, so you said 2 election supervisors,
No,
No.
one election supervisor, 2 election records clerks.
2 in records. 1 in licensing or 2?
2 in licensing,
2. And then elections records,
2 election records clerks.
2. Okay. Then, if I heard you correctly, you said the upgrade to the system would go under, instead of it being under the council budget, it's under this budget, correct?
It's in
And
the
that it would
clerk's
be,
budget, even though it's for the council.
correct. But so, and that would go under professional services?
Correct.
And so was that an additional 70K or would that bring the 53 up to 70K?
So there are some startup costs, one-time startup costs. And then depending on which route we go, it could be an additional 70,000 a year.
Okay, so it doesn't turn the 53 into 70, it's 53 plus 70.
Right.
Okay. And then right now you said the 53 is just covering records.
What we have right now, yes.
Okay, can you be more specific with that? Help me understand when you say records, what is
So it's
encompassed in
like
that?
our legislative system where we keep track of all the records that we have since the 90s.
And where is this legislative system housed? Is it somewhere that you have access to, we have access to, or like the public has access to?
It's only internal right now.
It's only internal,
So
okay.
that's what those additional costs would make it so that it's more of a public facing. It would be on our website, it would be accessible to the public and anybody that wanted, to use it in addition to the video components where your meetings would be on our website, broadcast live, as well as on YouTube or any other platform that we want it. And then it just depends on, the different things you would want it to be able to do. If it can,
So those records is costing us, it's costing $53,000 a year for that. And you said it goes back just to the 90s?
we started it in the 90s, yeah.
You started it in the 90s or it goes back to the 90s?
It goes back to the 90s when we first started the system.
So what about records before the 90s? What happens then?
Those are right now hard copies in a vault. But with the new system,
Mhm.
we're hoping to be able to, because it's a cloud-based system, we're hoping to be able to make electronic records for a lot of the stuff that we don't have to keep hard copies for. Some things we have to keep the originals,
Mhm.
and they're only in our vault. Some things we can have electronic and get rid of the originals.
So with the vault, is the vault covered in that 53 as well?
No, that's just where we literally store the hard copies, physical documents.
Trying to figure out how to ask a question without.
Where's the vault?
I'll come back to that. Yeah, I don't want to ask that.
Okay.
Okay. And so then once we make a decision about how we're going to do the additional equipment or the cloud-based equipment, how that's going to run, it'll have records much further back than the 90s, right? And then how will that get inputted into the system?
So that would be, well, it depends. I can pay outside companies to do it for us, part-time. Also looked at interns. The state also has some assistance in their archiving departments. So there's multiple ways to get it done. And then right now, we're just looking at the council, and the legislative records, things like that. But the system is built so that it could be used citywide.
All right, and so this is my last one, because I don't want to waste too much of my time on this, but if I wanted to, if, as a resident, if I wanted to look up a record now, wanted to look up a law now, how would I do that? How do I go about doing that right now? If I wanted to go online, is there somewhere I can go online to do that? If I wanted to come in to do, how would I do that?
Right now, to look up a specific document, no. You could just request, come into the office and ask. A lot of people do Freedom of Information Act requests. But right now, there is no way to look up specific documents. But this, because even if we don't go with the additional dollars, we will still have a system that is accessible to the public.
Okay, and then, so the next with the printing and the publishing, I already know what the answer is going to be. I just need it on the record. I see the printing and publishing is up roughly around 20,000. This for the proposed budget. Why?
Which budget are we in?
I'm still on the clerk page.
The clerk page, yep.
Yep.
So right here is this year's budget, and then it's increasing to 65 because there's elections. I would assume there's gonna be more
Is
mail.
that elections or are you talking 262 or 215?
215, I'm sorry, maybe I'm.
No, 215.
Oh. So printing and publishing in 215. No.
Oh, no, next one. Yeah. There you go.
Okay, that is for our codification. For the clerk's budget, that's for the codification, the code, the codification of the code.
I got you. Okay. The answer was different from what I expected, so I thank you for answering that. I'm going to go to the license and permits. And you said there are 2 licensed investigators under that. That's what makes up those wages, correct?
Under licensing for the wages, yes.
Okay, and then I know we talked about this, it's been almost 2 years now, and you touched on it a little bit when you were doing your presentation. Is it still going to move under BSI?
We're still waiting on a legal opinion for that, but I just have concerns about whether it's a legal thing that can be done, you know, if business licensing, because the majority of business licensing in Michigan is done by the clerk.
Okay.
But my concern was for capacity and being able to enforce. So as long as it's not a requirement, we were looking at.
And that
That is
is,
an option.
that brings me to my next question of how is that department currently operating? Because we have a lot of businesses that are not licensed, right? And I know that when the idea was originally brought to council for it to be moved under BSI, they had a plan to, I guess they were gonna have someone just go drive around and figure out, you know, if someone was operating as a business or operating a business out of a brick and mortar building, if they were actually licensed. So does that currently happen? How are you, because again, we know that you have businesses that do have license, right? They have licenses, but then there are a lot of people operating businesses without a license. And so how are we monitoring that? How are we getting out letters to say you cannot operate without a license? How's that currently being tracked?
I'll let, because Jennifer works licensing, I'll let her expound on that a little bit more. But that's part of our issue right now is,
Okay, we do have several business licenses, but every business is not required to have a license. So I think about 5 or 6, maybe even 7 or 8 years ago, a lot of the licenses were just dissolved for some reason. So like beauty shops, restaurants, boutiques, all that stuff used to have had, you had to have an initial merchant license. That was a $400 license. They decided we didn't need it in the city of Flint. That was a whole thousands of dollars.
Do you know, I'm sorry, do you know who decided, was that a
It was
council decision?
At that time, it was the city administrator, and it was the
Emergency manager?
emergency manager, and it was the city attorney that decided that. And they asked our opinion. We gave them our opinion of the licenses that were very lucrative for the city, and they decided they didn't care. They got rid of it.
I'm not even looking at it necessarily being lucrative. I'm also thinking about like public safety. When we talk about what should and shouldn't be licensed and people going through proper channels, proper education and all of that. When we talk about them operating these businesses as opposed to I get a building because I have a bright idea or because I've been doing something my whole life, but I never went and got like formal training or education to do it. And so now I'm operating under this and something may happen to someone and they have no real recourse against me. Maybe they can do something civil, but it might not pan out. There are safety concerns there. Is it possible for us to get a list of what you do have to have a license for in the city and then a list of what was taken away
Yes.
by the emergency manager? And can you also give us your recommendations for other areas that you see need a license?
Well, like I said, initial merchant would cover like all the businesses that's downtown. It would cover everybody that has basically a brick and mortar.
Yeah,
Which is,
yeah.
so they don't have to have anything. I can go tomorrow and get a building and start selling stuff, and you don't even have to have a license because that was a major thing that was taken out. Building contractors, we have a lot of stuff going on. Building contractors in the city, you can build and you don't even have to have a license with the city to do it any longer. They took that away from us also.
Yeah, is it possible for the council to get that? Because I think that's something that we need to take a look at. I didn't know that. So sometimes I'm thinking these people are just illegally operating certain things and there have been a lot of complaints and hazards that come along with some of those things being taken out of having the responsibility of having a license. And so we need to revisit that as a council. Because I'm not even sure why an emergency manager would come in and say, hey, you don't need that. That's very interesting to me.
Yeah, we gave them 4 pages of front and back. So basically 8 pages of licenses that we needed for the city of Flint. And they took basically the 4 pages and just 2 of them, two full pages of very high good, and they just threw them away and said, you can just operate in the city without these businesses.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's on my list.
And that's not safe. Yeah, so can we get that?
Sure.
Because, thank you.
Yeah.
And I do want to personally apologize for the fact that someone not from our city would come into our city and tell you, who's been operating in our city for quite some time, what our city would need. That is bananas to me, but okay. That answers that question. And you also answered about as far as the plan that they were originally going to put in place, that it is possible, but it needs to be an overall thing. So thank you, because that did answer that question. Board of Review, don't really have anything there. I understand. They are the only stipend board, right? Okay.
correct.
Perfect. Moving on to elections. Just looking at, what is this? And it's probably going to be a simple explanation, but sick, vacation, and accrued leave pay. Is there a reason why in the past there was projected numbers and now there isn't a projected number for it?
I can help on that one.
Okay.
We just roll that all into the regular wage and we move that as needed because you can't, that's too difficult to project anyways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because this is temporary, right? It's just something that only happens, right?
It just happens sporadically when people use their PTO.
Okay.
So we just make a adjustment when we need it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then going down to professional services for this, what's encompassed in that? And that is 262.
Professional services?
Yeah, professional service. I'm under the elections.
I don't have that paper.
Oh,
They didn't give me one.
I keep wanting to say tab, but it's not a tab, but on the elections page, that shows you what era I grew up in. We are not on a computer.
So that's our,
And it's 262, and then it's 801 under the professional services for elections.
So those those professional services for its election is kind of like election related. We have to have a camera for every
Okay.
drop box and stuff. We have cameras also where we store our election equipment. So all of those fees, we have cameras that secure our absentee ballots. When we put our absentee ballots up, during election time, we have cameras that make sure don't nobody come and tamper with the ballot. So all of those professional services come out of that professional service line item.
Okay, perfect. And then I think the next one I had was the transportation of election equipment. That's going to be different from the actual line item of equipment, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the transportation is on election day and before, about a couple of days before, we have to have a company to come in to deliver all of the election equipment to all precincts. They have to deliver, and then after the election, they have to pick it up.
Okay, and so when we're saying the equipment that gets delivered, we're saying obviously the machines, but is there anything else that's
The
covered?
machines and the actual, all of the ballots and all of the extra stuff that you have to do to operate so all of that, the materials and all that they do all of that.
And you said that that equipment travels with, there's cameras attached to those machines, or how are we making sure?
No,
Go
the
ahead.
machine, where they are stored at, it's a camera there to keep an eye on all of our machines.
And so, but once it's being located to where it's going to go for election day, what are the security protocols to make sure there's no tampering happening from that point to the end point?
Well, when we have them delivered to the polling locations, they are locked up at that particular polling location, because when the election workers go, they have a person there at 5:00 in the morning so they can unlock and give the election workers the equipment. So they are locked up under lock and key.
Okay, and is there someone, and I know it's a lot, right? Because we have quite a few precincts, but is there someone that goes to make sure that that equipment is locked up the night before or whenever it gets
Yeah, when
there?
it gets delivered, the person that's over that particular building, they are the ones that lock it up.
Okay, all right. And then obviously all of our polling locations have cameras and all of that, right?
We don't have, we just have cameras on the actual drop boxes. We don't have cameras at the actual polling locations, no.
Okay. All right, I guess that's a huge exploration and trust, making sure that they're not gonna go back in. I would imagine they're not, and it hasn't happened before. But,
Yeah.
okay,
the equipment is tested in the
Okay.
morning by the election workers to make sure that it's, showing what it's supposed to show. And then you
Okay.
can't really have cameras on the equipment when it's operating.
okay,
Yeah.
thank you. And then Printing and publishing, I'm imagining it went up that much because it's an election year?
Yeah, because we have to pay for the printing of the ballots.
Mm-hmm, okay. And then repairs and maintenance on election equipment.
Yeah, every year, we have to do updates and repairs on all the electric equipment. It's a part of our contract with Hart that, every year, actually, they come actually before every election to test every machine and repair all the machines. So we have to pay that because it's part of our contract.
Mm-hmm. So is it costing us less this year, or do we have less equipment? Why, I noticed that the projected number this year is lower than the last 2 years.
Well, actually, the projected number, to be honest, we didn't put enough money in there because that particular amount is for the election equipment at the polling location. But we have a special machine that does the AV.
Yeah.
And we have an additional 15,000 that we have to pay for repairs and maintenance to that. So we actually don't have enough money in there for repairs and maintenance.
Yeah.
And that's a yearly fee that we pay once a year, but they come out before every election to test all of our machines. And the AV machine, because it's a high-powered machine, is totally different from the precinct machine. So that particular machine has its own maintenance contract by itself.
So we're missing about 15,000 there, you
We're
said?
missing about 15,000, yes.
That contract just expired this year.
I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
It was a 5-year contract and it just expired this year.
That it just expired, and so, but
Well,
it,
it was 5 years. The county paid for it for 5 years. We're responsible 6 through 10.
okay,
This year, it was our 6th year to pay for that contract.
okay. And so do we have any plans, finance department, on paying for that? Because that's actually pretty crucial. So they're saying we're about 15,000 below what
Yep.
we need to,
We'll find out a way to pay for that. I'm not worried about that.
I'm sorry, Mr. Moore, I didn't hear the last part of what you said.
That's not one of the things I worry about. I'm confident that we'll have the funds to pay for that.
Okay, and then that answered that question. Then I'm gonna go to, and I'm about to wrap it up, Judy, before you tell me. I think I'm on the last page here with the actual election workers. The one line kind of speaks for itself, but I just need to ask to have it on record about the sick vacation and accrued leave pay. I noticed, we did $998 one year, then everything else is blank. Why? And this is on the election workers page.
You talking about, it was blank for wages?
Yeah, I just want to make,
Because all of the election worker comes out of temporary and seasonal employees. That's why it's vacant.
Perfect.
Because all of their wages come out of there.
okay, thank you. And then my last one, I noticed this is seasonal, it's unemployment compensation. Why, because, and maybe I'm misinterpreting that this page is only temporary workers, right? So, can you just explain the unemployment compensation piece for this?
That's
It's
not my
required by
piece,
law.
That's theirs.
We just follow state law for that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Moore. And then, how many workers at what rate do we have here?
We have roughly about 300 workers.
300, okay.
But we have the rates are kind of different. We have a
Yep.
chairperson that makes more than everybody. And then we have a laptop person that comes right below the chairperson. And then we have an inspector that comes right below them.
Okay.
So we have basically 3 different rates.
All right, thank you, I yield.
Councilwoman in the 6th Ward.
Thank you. I don't have a lot of questions. One thing with the election, you said you got cameras now?
Yeah, we've been
What
having,
about
it's
cameras?
by law, at every, where the drop boxes are at, we have to have cameras for the drop boxes.
So what about the ballots, absentee ballots, I believe you stated in the clerk's
Yeah,
office?
Yeah, we keep them up in a vault, but we also have a camera on it too.
What about outside? Are there any, I mean, are you only, what is your process? Is it a dual person, like for controlling, like if you're going in there, is it 2 people? What is your process? Or
To
can
pick
a
up
solo
ballots?
person go in there?
When you pick up ballots?
No, once people drop them off, I drop my ballot off, what happens to it? If I come
You
to the
mean-
clerk's office, I hand it to you, is it put on someone's desk, or is it a due process that someone says, Okay, we both go back, what is your process?
I mean, the process, if you came to our office and dropped your a ballot off, it is locked up in our vault. And then, someone will come and scan the ballots. We do our balloting, and then they're locked back up. So AVs are locked up with a camera on them at all times.
There's
Whether you
no-
coming in, or if you at a location like a fire station, we can see who puts that ballot in there. And then we have a person that comes out every day to pick up it's 3 times a day and pick up those ballots. And he has a spreadsheet that the state required us to do when he's picking up drop box.
When
The
do these,
state doesn't require 2 people. We just have the one person who is, sworn in and certified to do that. So it's not a requirement to have 2 people.
okay, so it's just required for one person, okay?
And-
And I just wanted for transparency for the public, so that they know, because we have a lot of people say, oh, it's election fraud. So, so we have the cameras that are monitoring them, and it's kept in the vault, and the vault has a camera, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So my other question, so when it becomes ballots come in, are people allowed to come in the office by themselves at 11, 12, 1 o'clock a.m.?
You said AM?
Yeah, I mean, that's.
So the ballots are never left unattended, and we lock them up at the end of the workday.
Okay,
So we can see who comes in, because we know when you swipe, we know who's in the office at any time. They're in the vault. Again, we can tell when someone's in the vault. I'm not going to say that, there's really no reason for staff or anybody to be in, but it does not say it doesn't happen, because I personally have other responsibilities that might make me come into the office or something like that. But the ballots themselves are always locked in the vault, unless they're being worked on or something like that. So I don't go into the vault for, nobody, we would know anybody that it would enter anytime, anything, so.
so we had our last mayoral election, and there were concerns about some of the bags or ballot boxes were not a dual process. Have we fixed that to make sure that the county isn't calling us saying, hey, we need this person over here to tell us what's going on?
What was that now?
Our last mayoral election, there were was the ballot boxes or bags, what do you call them?
You talking about where the ballots are stored?
It was after the election, we'd had some problems, and the county kept asking for an official from the city to come over to the county, because there were some questions. It was actually on camera. They were saying, hey, put a person's name down there that did not exist. And some of,
Oh, you mean when for the paperwork?
correct.
Oh, okay, yes, no, we, since I've been the clerk, all of those issues that have come up in the past, we're addressing them individually. We're setting up processes. We're making our election workers more accountable. So yes, every issue that has come up in the past, we have addressed it, in addition to, there's some rules and things that are changing with the laws and things like that. But no, all the issues that we were aware of have been addressed.
Okay.
Or are being addressed.
And I think you and I have talked about it, and I appreciate that. My other question is, for you to have, I don't see an attorney in your budget.
So I did mention that's something I would have to speak with Mr. Moore about, because I do have concerns, because there are these unknowns that are happening on a national level. So it is something I would work with him on.
So I feel, and I've always said when we had our prior clerk, your office is independent, and we have to trust the clerks. Not saying that, and I appreciate the work that both of you have done, I do. But you need to have your own independent attorney, because no offense, Miss Gurley, Attorney Gurley, but she's appointed by the mayor. You're independent. And so your office should be independent of the mayor and everyone else. So that if you need help or legal opinion or legal advice or whatever, your office should be afforded that and not at the will of the city attorney. And they're having, not you, Ms. Gurley, I've seen city attorneys who acted like the mayor's personal attorney. And that is a problem. Your office is responsible for some really important things with voting. And with having that in our elections, that we need to make sure that, and also with the city council, that it stays secure, so that you get good legal advice, independent legal advice. Mr. Moore, is it a possibility, can you find money in the budget?
I believe the answer I told Ms. Davino was that we would work with her. We don't have any philosophical problems opposed to it.
So how much do you think you could find for her to locate?
I haven't heard of, she hasn't told me how much she needs yet, so.
So she should have one, because she is the official record keeper for the entire city. So she needs to have a good firm. Our city attorneys cover everything else, literally everything else. And so she would need, and I hope it's not 10,000 in the budget. I hope it's not 15. I mean, there's a lot of things that she needs. We have had some issues even with city council that we should have had outside legal opinions, because before you were here, Ms. Gurley, there were some bogus legal opinions. They were horrible. And so the clerk's office should have its own independent attorneys to use aside from the city of Flint, because the clerk's office should not be at the mercy of the city attorney. It should not, because it's going to be conflicting. And it's a conflict, because she may need something that she may not be in agreement with the mayor's office. And if we're using, and the mayor applies pressure, and she's not going to get the independent advice that she needs. And that's the way our government should run: fair, transparent, and the clerk's office is independent of the mayor's office. So how much do you think you could locate? So she asks you for 30,000, would that be a problem?
If she comes and asks me for some money, we'll find the money to take care of it. We'll follow whatever the charter says we're supposed to do. And
We don't follow the charter, I've seen that. I mean, it's subjective
Give
at
a choice,
times.
I'm going to follow the
Yeah.
charter.
Yeah,
but,
so she needs an attorney.
If she needs the dollars, we'll find the dollars for her.
Okay, and that is all for me, Judy, because
Okay.
Candace asked a lot.
Can I chime in on this? I know it's your budget hearing, but I do want to say that if the clerk needs outside counsel, whether it deals with elections or any other issues, the law department does afford that to her. The law department has no problems with there being a separate attorney under the charter. City attorney works for both administration and the clerk, which is why I'm here tonight for both of your hearings. So I understand what has happened in the past, but the clerk and I do work closely. If she needs outside counsel to assist her, as was done recently, then we do that. But from my position here as a city attorney, as you stated, Councilperson Burns, I represent both sides.
Thank you. So can she choose her own attorney, or you would choose the attorney? Don't you choose the attorney, the firm?
We have firms already that are under contract, so yes.
Okay.
But even if it's like for city council members, if there's some litigation, we do consult with you all, and we've used some of your own attorneys in the past.
Well, there's some things that, and I stand with you, Attorney Girl, that's why I gave disclaimers with some, some things that come before us that should come before us, even though it's in the charter, Mr. Moore, they don't come before us.
The other thing I would like to point out is that Mrs. Gurley is not afraid to stand her ground if she needs to.
You said you would throw that caveat in there.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that the clerk's office can operate independently with good legal help, because there are some attorneys that they should shouldn't even be public defenders. So I want to make sure she has what she needs to make good decisions with the best legal advice at the time. And thank you, Attorney Gurley, for chiming in. I appreciate that.
Okay, so that was actually something I was going to bring up, is that our city attorney does service both both sides, administration and council, as the city as a whole. And the clerk is obviously part of the city, and I would assume that we wouldn't have to add money to this budget because it would be covered in the city attorney's budget at this time. I also knew about the voting machines are going to be changed statewide. So I don't know if we should move money into it now or wait, because you're right, I don't even know if the state has chosen a vendor. So we don't really know the cost or what's going on, so that's going to be something that we'll have to look at in the future. I think when that's more a set, definite type thing. But we do need to add repair and maintenance dollars for the machines at this point. So why wasn't that put in the budget when you prepared it? Did you know about that, or?
No, when I prepared it back in
December?
December, I just actually got the bill for that particular back in March. So I thought it was all included. So I had to call her and she had to break it down to me because I didn't know, and they didn't, I didn't know it was separate.
Okay, thank
Because
you.
we did get that particular machine 2 years after we got the regular.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that makes sense. That was my wonder why we had all this. We need this, we need this, we need this. And I know the $70,000 that was mentioned earlier for technological improvements is something that we've talked about recently in regards to that. Now, we're going to, what is the software that you're going to be using for minutes and agendas? What is it? I can't think of the name.
Granicus.
Yeah, and that's covered in this already?
Currently, not the updates or anything, because that's only recently come up, and I have
Is that in
a
the council?
proposal from them.
Is it
to
in
see
the
how much it's
council
gonna-
part of the budget?
It's, again, it's the clerks, but it's for the council. part,
Okay.
The council work.
Right, okay.
So it's a clerk function, but it's for the city council.
So is that needed to be increased for that you didn't know about? For updates?
I still have to figure that out, because some of it
Okay.
is one-time costs. I think I might still have some funds available for that. And then moving forward, again, because essentially, it would do the work of an individual. So
Right.
it's kind of like, so it's just, deciding
Shifting
if I want
dollars
to,
and
yeah,
money.
if I don't want to have the person, but the system is going to make everything more efficient to where we really might not need that person. So,
Okay, and that would be that's in the council's budget?
correct.
Okay, let's go to the council. I'm done.
I have a quick
I
question.
want to point
Okay, go
out
ahead.
something. I just want to point out something before we move forward. This hearing was posted to end at 7:30. I just want to say that for the record.
Yep, I know.
Just so we know, because we post the end time.
Yep.
So I just want to
Yep.
publicly state that.
A quick question, because they don't know who you are as the deputy. Can you say your name? They don't.
Oh, I'm not the deputy.
Jennifer.
I'm the accounts payable.
Accounts payable.
Yes.
Okay, and because they don't know what your title is.
Well, my name is Jennifer Evans. I am the accounts payable clerk, but I do multiple roles. I do
That's
elections
what-
and license, so I do
To
3
get it
different
done.
jobs.
And your
Thank you.
salary is split accordingly, right?
Yes.
All right, go ahead and go to council real quick. Let's try to wrap this up as quickly as we can. I know we're obviously, Mr. Moore, for next year, when we put together the schedule, we're gonna have to put more time in for the mayor.
Yeah.
So we'll need to make notes of that. Okay, go ahead.
So the council budget, again, fairly static. This is the one where you were asking about the professional dues and publications. That's for the MML. That's in the council's budget. Another thing that stands out is the professional services line item, which is generally been for the audit.
Yep.
It used to be for your meeting broadcast, but we've gotten rid of that. And I think we generally, for the professional services, do $350,000. Our audit has gone over that several years, and right now I think we're going to go a little bit over based on some change orders that we've gotten in. But other than that, the council budget, it's pretty much just the wages and salaries and those two items that stand out.
Okay, who would like to get started? Anybody have any questions? Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, do you want to go first? Because I'm gonna keep it brief. I probably won't. Because I bug Davina all the time. I bug Davina all the time, so,
Oh,
yeah.
and I do want to, but I'm going to try to move money from professional services or take it out of professional services. One thing I want to mention, one thing I just want to mention is the education training conference budget. We increased it this year. But I'll probably try to work in professional services because this is an election year and we'll consider it new council when we do the orientation. Normally we'd take those dollars for that training out of that, but I don't want to take it from the individual. So I'm looking at, but I think I can take it from somewhere else so that we have orientation where the MML comes to the council like after November. So even though some members will still be here, it's still considered a new council, so we would do an orientation, so.
Our audit's going to be about 275,000, I think, for next year.
What's that?
I think the audit's going to be around 275, with
Yeah.
taking into
Plus the
consideration the
15, yeah.
bids.
So we should have enough money, because I think unless they've changed it, it's about $3,000 a unit, so I think there's like 2 or 3. So it shouldn't be more than $10,000 for that.
Okay, so who wants to start?
I
Candace?
just want to know about the interpreter.
Oh, go ahead.
Thank you. So for the interpreter for sign language, is that in this budget? I had to step out.
So that would be in your budget.
Where's it at?
That would be under professional services.
And is that for, how much are we estimating that would be?
When we did a rough estimate before, it was about $35,000 for the year.
Okay, so that's what that's for. Do we know when that will be implemented? Is that by well, we're past April now. When are we looking to have this implemented?
So the council still hasn't voted on it. And then we haven't really discussed other options because of the clerk's item and that closed captioning element. And I've also looked into, because when we first started talking about it, there were concerns about, what do you call it? The interpreters, I can't think. There's other ways we could do it with different monies. So the council hasn't voted to say how they want to do it or not, because you're still talking about some closed captioning and the sign language interpreters for the meetings as opposed to the room. And we're looking at,
So we're still trying to figure out how that will look and work.
Right.
And I do need to contact you with someone who works for that so that we can make sure we're doing it right, because there's a difference in closed caption interpreters. Basically, it's a different language to my understanding.
Yes, it is.
And so we need to figure out, make sure that we're doing it right. And this is moving at a terribly slow pace. I just wrote it, carried it over. I'm gonna yield the floor because that was my biggest concern. Because this budget it's just very basic.
yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't change much.
Yep, I yield the floor.
Candace?
I'll keep it brief with you. All right, so just looking here, some of this stuff really small. So the life insurance, I noticed that is projected rather low. Are we not insuring people's lives? I don't just, what happened there?
That's one of finance things. We don't mess with any of that.
I know,
stuff.
I'm looking at the numbers and I noticed it went down from 25 to 20 to 433. Now we're just projecting that's it.
I'm not sure what's going on, but our coverage hasn't changed.
Can we take a look at that? I just
Yeah,
want
I
to, you know,
made a note of that when you said that.
I just want to make sure, should anyone need anything, that is in place if they need it. So can we just figure out why that number is projected lower than? Is that a yes? We're gonna figure out what happened there.
This also does look like it's gonna have to be adjusted for even this year. If you'll notice, the budget for this year is below what we've already spent. So we're probably gonna have to do some manual journal
Okay.
entries to, the funding is there, but it's just that line's being hit more than others. So it's probably just an erroneous thing that we need to adjust. going
Sounds good.
forward.
I'll be looking for that correction when it's time to vote.
Historically, council's not spent their entire budget, so you'll be all
I
right.
mean, historically, I'm happy that we're living,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, we've seen a couple of incidents
We're not
lately
cutting-
where,
we're not cutting your insurance.
you know, so should, for whatever the reason, I just want to make sure it's there. And then professional services, Davina, could you explain this to me one more time? Because what goes under this particular for the 350,000?
The last few years, it's just been the audit. The city's audit. So, like Judy said, right now, we're looking at about 275,000. Well, 250,000 for the next audit, plus 15,000 out of pocket, 9,500 for programs, additional programs if necessary. So it's about 275 we anticipate. But lately, we've gone over. And we usually spend that entire $350,000.
Right, so we've gone over because of the audit, right? Is that why we've gone over?
Right, because of, issues with the audit. Now, moving forward, we might not have any.
Right.
So those are the dollars that we might have some flexibility, but we really won't know until the audit comes up. But I know that a lot of the issues from the past have been addressed and they're not repeats. And we are looking at going with the same, with Raymond again. So, they've been here before, so they should be able to, it's not like somebody new coming in. They know what they're looking at, what the issues and concerns are. So hopefully we can keep it within the scope of the,
All right, so then this
contract.
communications line item, what goes into that? The 10?
so that could be anything that's related to council output. So,
I think that's the line item you added last year.
yeah, I don't,
Come on, Mr. Moore, thank you. Because we don't send out mailers, we're not doing anything of the sort, and it's just weird. Thank you. I remember now. Because I just thought it was weird that you have 9 people up here and we're not sending out any form of communications to our residents. Like that and we didn't even have it budgeted to at least attempt to do so. Davina, go ahead.
because a lot of,
I'm
it's a
sorry, Clerk
different-
Donahue.
It's a different kind of environment now with everything electronic.
Mhm.
And my concern is always to make sure that that it's neutral in whatever we
Yes.
send, so that it doesn't promote
For sure.
any particular individual or anything like that. So in the past, it used to be, we used to send out a budget mailer. every year or something like that.
I think even if that was it, I think that the residents would appreciate that because I did send out a notice about the budget happening, like the hearings happening, and then I also sent out the budget that we received, the projected budget that we received as well. So I think that there are some communications that we can do, that it can just go out as a whole, so it doesn't seem like it's just one council person attempting to promote or not promote, or maybe some council people may have something to send out and others don't, or they don't realize it. And so I think if there is maybe something, like you said, like the budget or something else that can be a unified thing that residents can get, I think they would like to hear from their city council in that way.
I can tell you what it was used for this year, if you'd
Okay.
like. It was used for the informational ARPA flyers that were sent out. That's what that
Oh,
line
why
was
would you
used for.
tell us that? Thanks, Jay.
You're welcome.
Because Councilwoman Burns was done, but now she's not, but thank you. I appreciate the answer, though.
You know how much we hate those four-letter words.
Okay, and how we will all be glad, but okay. Moving on to the miscellaneous expenses line item. What goes into that? What are we capturing there? Because I'm looking at the fact that there was a significant increase. So what's in there?
So that is for anything that isn't covered by other accounts. So it's like when the staff has to get their notaries done, we have, because every council, well, not the receptionist, but the council secretaries are notaries. So it's stuff like that.
Okay.
It's random stuff that's not covered by any other line item.
And then the professional dues and publications. It wasn't that much of a jump, but why is it projected slightly higher?
That's the MML charge.
Every year. And so who does this 35,000 cover? Is it just council? Is it, go ahead.
It's the city. It's everybody in the city.
Everybody
who's a
in the
member of
city?
MML.
And man. And so, but the council, our budget, it takes on that whole.
It's put in the council's budget because you're the legislative body. But yeah, so it's, whenever anybody goes to a conference or something, they are a member, so they get that membership discount. And so, yeah, but that is in the council's budget.
And so that 35 is just for the year for every employee that chooses to utilize it. Do we know how many people actually utilize it?
I don't know. I could probably find out.
Okay.
But
All right.
I know the council and the clerk's office use it. So.
And then I think I'm on the last page, and then after this question, I think I'm good. And I'm back on the professional services page, but I think you did answer that. As far as why there's nothing projected right there on those particular lines. Is it the last page? Oh, never mind. I just realized it says City Council ARPA. Y'all good? No, never mind. I looked at the top. All right,
Okay.
I yield.
Okay, I've got two real quick questions. On the MML dues, is it a set amount for cities of certain sizes? You pay this much and so that it covers all the employees. It's not per employee, right?
Right.
Okay, so that makes sense that it would cover the entire city. And I do know I saw Clyde at a convention a couple of years ago. So I know he has gone, but I haven't seen anybody else except for our attorneys in the February or March.
I do have another question, since I know that we're paying for this MML thing. I remember speaking to the mayor about National League of Cities, and I didn't really get an answer as to why, but since I see council is paying for everybody's membership for MML, is it possible for us to look at a National League of Cities membership as well? Because that's federal, and that gives us federal connections. They've helped us outside of us being members quite a bit. But I think that there is a lot of access that we're missing. Like they've helped us get funding. They've helped us know about certain funding. And it's funding that's eventually coming before council and we've received the grants. And so there are other opportunities that we're missing out on not being full members with the National League of Cities.
We could get the cost of that.
Huh?
We could find the cost for the council
Yeah,
for that.
I don't recall, it definitely wasn't the 35. But we
It's
can,
less, if I remember, it's less than an MML.
okay.
It's
Yeah.
less than MML?
No, it
believe
is
so.
less than MML.
Okay.
But we still want MML too. But if
Yeah.
that's just something we can look into. All right, thank you.
Okay.
I yield.
I have
So,
one more question.
okay, go ahead.
You said the mailing, ARPA mailing, was that it? Who approved that?
Give me 1 second. Thought I'd be able to find the vendor quicker. Give me a sec.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand you.
I thought I would be able to find the vendor quicker than that, so just give me a second.
Okay, do you know who approved that?
I'm trying to, I know who entered it. Well,
Was it-
Well, no, it's Christine Tagg, so that's AP. Yeah, she entered the AP. I'm trying to get there. Let me see if I can find the PO here. 1 second.
Was it approved by the city clerk's office?
No, it was not.
So the only other person with authority would be the mayor's office. You help me understand that. How is the mayor having something taken out of the city council budget? Mr. Moore? Because we didn't approve it, it didn't come up to us. And how much was it?
$8,512.
So Mayor Neely is taking things out of council budget, superseding his position, overriding the city clerk, and having items printed that the city council did not approve. I mean, would that be in short what it is? Because what was it? What did it look like?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Well,
I don't have an actual printing.
so who pressed go for city council's budget? Help me. I mean, I'm serious. We can't go spend the mayor's budget. So how can he spend? We are separate. He is the executive branch. We're the legislative. We're separate for a reason. How can he spend our budget? And who okayed this? We'll just use city council's budget. And what I want to see the document city council paid for out our meager little budget.
I don't have the document that was printed. I have the invoice. That's all I have.
Okay, but then let's do, because I want to see both, the invoice and the document. So Judy, if you can make a note of that, please, so that we can see what it is we paid for out of our budget that the mayor authorized. How dare he do that? I mean, come on. But he used everybody else's budget to print his birthday cards on. Now he's printing ARPA cards going out of city council. This is crazy. So if you could get that, we would greatly appreciate it. Oh, and is anything, our audit has been going over because of what? What's making our audit go up? Is it because it's been late?
If you look at the 24 audit was late because of the hack that we had, and that did add some additional cost because of the hack that we had.
And the DDA?
And the DDA, we don't pay for their,
I mean, but them, when other departments of the city are late and it's holding up our audit.
that can cause, yes, that does add cost to it.
Yeah.
But I don't think the DDA was late. I think they were
Yeah, it
okay.
was 2 years ago.
Yeah,
They were, okay.
Yep. And
Thank
then
you.
Last year was an issue for 24 audit. There was an issue that the Housing Commission's audit was
The
incorrect.
Housing Commission, yes, absolutely.
Yep. And so that had to be fixed. So that put us behind more.
Yeah.
And then this year we were a little late, but better than have in the past. I've been told it's ready except for the Housing Commission.
Right.
And so.
So why were we late?
Well, we were late because of the hack that we experienced last,
The cyber attack?
yeah.
Okay, and that's understandable. And so this is what I'm saying, Mr. Moore, because you, and it's not you and Mr. Borley, you aren't really allowed to come up here and be transparent. And that's unfortunate. And so when you're allowed to be transparent, then these are things we would already know in regular conversation. And regular conversation is not what's had at our lectern or our podium. And it's unfair because then we would already know. So I would like to see a copy of why we are printing materials on, that we did not authorize or vote on or approve, because this is what I was telling you earlier. I said, they don't really follow the charter here. And there goes an example. He should not be spending anything on our budget. He should also not have a vehicle that we're paying for either. So that is my only, when will we have the budget for, the Housing Commission? I know they're working
City
on,
Council does not approve the Housing Commission budget.
You're talking
but
the
don't we
audit?
have, yeah.
The
the
audit is
audit.
supposed, their audit was due the 31st. I understand it's supposed to be on time, but it's not.
I've been told that the draft has been prepared, and I've been
Yeah.
told that I'll receive a copy, but I haven't received a copy yet.
Okay. Okay, and I know they're working on it. So, but they do have it. They do have a firm who was, took from the prior year that they took it up.
The
But
one that screwed it up.
right, so I do want to make sure, how do we, Attorney Gurley, how do we stop the mayor from spending on our budget?
Well, we'd have to make sure that that's what happened. So I'm going to wait to hear from the team, the finance team, to see, they'd have to pull up invoices and see what actually transpired, and then I can have an answer for you.
Also, I'd like to send a referral to you also. Does it state that we should be paying for the mayor's vehicle too? So a referral through city clerk to you, or however we're gonna do it, because he gets paid $148,000. Why are we paying for his vehicle and his gas? And I'm done. I yield the floor. Thank you.
It is now 7:58, and I'm calling this hearing closed.
I'm going to go eat. My babies. Let me see your dog.
I bought a bone floss. A big bone yesterday.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it.
Can we find it in the budget for a new maker?
Yeah, I would.